YouTube. Got a special edition of Felony Talk I'm going to shoot here. I had a space last night, a UFO Twitter space, and I feel like it was an impactful space. And it went really well, I felt. It started to kind of drag a little bit, and then Coley came in and joined and helped co-host the last half of it, and it just went really well. And I feel like I got a lot of my points across, and most of what I wanted to accomplish was done. And it's in a recorded space. It's right here on UFO Twitter on my X account. You can go find it. It's called Flock, the TeeJay Felony Twitter story, and I'm the king of UFO Twitter hate is what the crown I've taken lately, and it seems to be a never-ending campaign from this little gatekeeper crew over there against me. And this space was to document all that. And if you go over and look at it, everything's in the comments. There's videos, there's pictures, there's links to different videos to validate everything in this space. But I wanted a audio recording of the space so I can do a full felony talk video with emotes and all that crap. So I'm gonna get that here. We're gonna listen to the space back live. I'm just gonna hang out and I might stop and add a few things here or there, but it's just to get an audio recording of the space because there was a lot of stuff I said that I want to use back later on my upcoming project because they kind of overlap. And this is live, so people can come in and hang out and talk shit, whatever they want. I'm gonna set up the chat here in a second, but then it's gonna vanish once the live stream ends, and I'm gonna do an edit, and that'll be up on YouTube later. And the edit will include cuts where I'll put in other clips from videos and stuff, so we'll be able to validate a lot of the claims instead of them just being, my word. We'll put in the receipts that the internet likes to call. One thing you'll learn on a lot of these claims against me is they never have receipts, but we have all the receipts, and that seems to be the difference. But all right, I'm gonna get ready to play this video. Let me see. Gotta pop over here, pull this over here. Shrink that down. Vanish that. Pop this open. There we go. And this is going to be my X account. That's where the space is at. It's recorded. Anyone can go listen back and check it out for themselves. And this space really wasn't meant to be like some big entertaining space where everyone came in. It wasn't a bring your beefy ravioli space. This was just a monologue for me. It was just for me to get my side of things out. That way I can refer back to it. And I'm starting to build allies and gain friends, and it's causing them to react, a lot differently than they used to. My YouTube channel is still growing. People still are watching my videos, and they seem to be getting a little bit more desperate and just, I don't know, spazzy, making threats, saying they want to see me found dead. And one thing that I want to say is, Red Panda Koala, one of the bigger names on UFO Twitter, is sitting there next to this guy who's saying things like, it's going to be hilarious when they find me dead. And this is somebody who also sat in a space and plotted about how I'm going to go scope out the area and ambush some guy and kill him.
I'll show up 2 days earlier and scout the whole fucking area. For real. I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna fucking tweak out on every possible scenario until you walk across my path. Alright? So dude, I'm not a gazelle. I'm not like,
Him getting all frazzled. They're like, dude, I'm like, dude, guys, talk about spiraling. What are we watching here? This is a guy hyping himself up to go do somebody serious bodily harm. How else would what else would you describe it as? Y'all want to keep putting this shit under the rug. How many fucking felony talks do I have to do like this?
Fucking woods. Right? I'm gonna do my thing, and it's gonna be fucking ugly.
He gonna come up and whack someone with a tomahawk or some shit, and it's gonna be ugly.
You think I'm that dude? I'm gonna rush into the ring like, yeah, bro. No, you're never
That
gonna see.
motherfucker out of his mind, y'all.
It's gonna be silent.
That's me.
Silent.
That was my honest reaction. I didn't know it was gonna get picked up.
I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna have a fucking a Twitter post about how I put my ball sack on your eyeballs.
Dude, he's fantasizing. He's fantasizing about it. That is one of the main signs of a narcissistic or even a serial killer.
Mind, y'all.
It's gonna be silent. Silent. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna have a fucking a Twitter post about how I put my ball sack on your eyeballs, and that's it. You're done. That's the whole story.
Oh, it's a serious thing. It's not just jokes and laughs anymore. This guy, Red Panda Koala, seems to be trying to like drive everyone towards a tragedy or something. Because he's got these guys, one of them from the mental hospital, and one of them this guy that has threatened everyone from every group. Every group has somebody that's been threatened by this guy. And these are the ones that the Red Panda Koala seems to platform and push up. And it's not funny anymore, dude. It's not a game. This guy's making threats in these spaces, so like at that point, it becomes serious. Like, and everyone just keeps, driving UFO Twitter towards this like loose tragedy. I don't know, man. But all right, let's get ready to play it. Anybody coming back later on, please subscribe, like, share, all that crap. Even if you don't agree with everything I say, if you want to come by my videos and argue with me, that's fine. Subscribe, all that stuff. If anyone wants support financially to help my content creation career, buymeacoffee.com/TeeJay Felony. And yeah, we're gonna get ready to listen to some of this space, and I'll stop and react to some of it as we go. Let me find the damn thing. There it is. Oh, nope, that was a hate space said to destroy me. That's Psych Ward Mike. That's one of the spaces that they held just to destroy my reputation. It was based on nothing. They don't have any reason to think I watch CP for real or whatever it said. It's just one of many slander spaces they've held against me. But here's the space. All right, let's get ready to play it. I'll get the chat up in case people come through. I don't know if people are gonna come through. I'm gonna lose the views either way. So I almost don't want a lot of people to come through because I'm gonna lose all the views. Yeah, it took me a minute to start
But
talking.
when I'm
Okay, here
getting
we go.
allegations and shit thrown at me because I'm just tired of it.
Right away, dude, I hate hearing myself talk, so it's so fucking just cringe to listen to for me. But I need a recording. I wanted to get a good recording of this space. That way I can use the sound bites. So mostly I'm just gonna let it play. And yeah, here we go.
So okay, I'm just gonna go Wilcock. I saw how this corner of the internet.
So I'm talking about David Wilcock. What started me down this little era and path right here is I was working on a project on the death of David Wilcock, and I started getting swamped by like a whole different group of trolls. A YouTube channel did a piece on me over it, and all I was doing was looking into it. Here's Coley popped in, but
At kind of this darker corner where it's nothing but criticism and negativity and tearing people down. It did seem to take what little energy he had in his life back, and it seemed to take it away and just kind of drain it. And I don't know if it's ufology that does this, or it seems to be more of the internet. But what
So who I'm talking about is David Wilcock, and how these YouTube channels seem to run him into the ground and finish him off, if you ask me.
I'm trying to do is basically show people that there is a lot of organized, targeted harassment going on UFO Twitter, and it's not just trolls. A lot of people like to say it's just the internet. It's just the internet. That's not the accurate situation. There are just random assholes roaming around, but this stuff you see with the ratioing and the random bots swarming, this stuff's organized, and I do believe, looking back on it, that what happened to David Wilcock, there were orders being given. I think there were slanderish stories that they were passing down to share. A lot of the allegations would be really random, and it did seem organized. And there's parallels compared to what I've been through, what I've heard other people gone through, what I've watched my friends. I've seen a lot of my friends get run out of the community, and it's the same tactics being used over and over again. And I'm starting to be convinced that there is one entity above UFO Twitter that is organizing these people to do this shit, and a lot of it is controlling content creation. It's the UFO Twitter gatekeepers. So it's going to be people like Tupacabra, Red Panda Koala, Full Stack Logan, UFO Shane, Kimball. These guys that have lingered here forever and grown and made money, but never really given anything back to the community. Just stirred drama and kind of controlled who's in on the cool kids table and who's not. These guys are working for somebody, and they're being told. They're being told, and I think it goes all the way over to Stephen Cambion. There's been incidences where I've given Cambion clear proof that these guys are nefarious and running bullshit, and he just won't touch it. He's afraid of these guys, and there's a reason. It's because you don't step on the toes of people that you're working with. And I do think all these fucking people are working together. I think they're controlling ufology through UFO Twitter, because they know UFO Twitter is the dominant voice in ufology right now. And they came in and they connected to these bigger accounts, and these guys they're all easily bought. It wasn't hard. You just had to throw some money at them, and yeah, they scooped up all these names. And that's why UFO Twitter can't seem to crawl out of the never-ending drama cycle that's always running.
One way that's been demonstrated how easy these guys are to buy off was when Keemstar came into the community. Tupa and Red Panda Koala didn't even know who he was. They just knew he was famous. So they were immediately politicking, trying to ball wash, get close to him. Where everyone else was like, "Ew, this is that Keemstar guy." They just saw an opportunity and they beeline towards it. That showed right there a bit of their motive and their integrity. All they were about was getting clout and trying to become famous. And yeah, anyone could have bought these guys. It would have just taken a little bit of fame, a name, a recognizable name, but it wouldn't have mattered who it was. It could have even probably been a liberal and they would have worked with them.
It's because there's people's jobs to keep the drama going, and it's people that you all sit in spaces with all the time. It's people like Red Panda Koala, Chupacabra. Yeah, they're being brought in, and it's online marketing is what a lot of it is. People have hinted to it, but they just weren't taken seriously. But yeah.
David Wilcock talked about it. He talked about Red Panda Koala by name. I'll play the clip when I do the.
Which is, this very strange name, RPK, which is, this very strange name to say the least. This is from the very inappropriately named Red Panda Koala. We'll get into what Red Panda is in a minute. And the Red Panda. What the hell is the Red Panda? Oh, okay. Nobody gets 2.1 million views. Something very suspect. Clearinghouse for the intelligence community, RPK, posted this story. They're getting massive numbers of views, which is probably because they're paying to tweak the algorithm. Here we go again. RPK. I don't want to keep saying it. Planting a narrative. I think the RPK post is a part of it. So let's get back to RPK for a minute, because they talked about this. Once again, we got the dreaded RPK intelligence product. I'm very adamant about that. And even the name of the guy that planted it, it's like Red Panda. What is that particular?
And he mentioned that these accounts around him that were they're not a real person. It's it's a Tupac alien. It's a astral. These guys are nefarious, and nobody should be trusting them. They can't even ride with their real name. Look at who was on this space tonight. Yeah, of course, my name isn't TeeJay Felony, but everyone's doxed me. My name's out there. I'm on YouTube channels. My face is right here. This is who I am. Coley came up. Her name is Coley Weber. That's her in the account. Like these people are who they are. We're just people with our opinions. And who is the hate group that is harassing us? Oh, they're anonymous socks and the Tupac alien and First Sword and the Deacon. Like these aren't real people. These are characters. Like these are almost like wrestling characters. And so it's not you can't even really engage with them until they're willing to like be a real human, because at that point they're just an attack bot. And David Wilcox saw through it. He mentioned it. I'll put the clip up when I do the edit. Let's keep going.
So, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start from the beginning then. My co-host should be in a little bit. I don't know if they're used to doing spaces or what, but
What happened is Coley was jumping in and she was having tech difficulties, and I think she thought it was on her end, but it was most likely on my end because the Android app on Twitter right now is really shoddy, especially running spaces. It's super hard to bring people up. The screen will go blank sometimes and you can't see any activity going on. You can't see when people request. It's a pain in the ass. But Coley comes in and saves the day later because I start to run out of gas.
let me go ahead and text them. Give me 1 minute.
Which was so awesome of her to do. I didn't expect her to come. Like you're dude, when it's putting yourself out there, because I'm so targeted that anybody who backs me or supports me or shows me any support publicly, they immediately start getting attacked. And I'm not making these things up. Misanthropy is joining spaces and they're all calling her a dumb effing bitch. Like it's just the reality of the situation. We're not lying. I'm not trying to paint myself as a victim. This is just what's happening. And honestly, I can kind of live in the world of hate. I can kind of feed off it, but I'm not the only one. They've ran off my friends with all these tactics, and a lot of them are women and stuff, and they didn't want to deal with it. Like so, it's more about them than me.
So I'll just talk a little bit about why I ended up on UFO Twitter at all in the first place. So I grew up on watching all the goofy ancient alien shit. That's what introduced me to the ancient astronaut theory and all that crap. And when I moved to this new city I live in now, it was shortly after I moved here. I moved over out here to be closer to my sister. Uh, Shortly after I moved here, I was on the bus going to a doctor's appointment, and I meet a lot of like homeless, shadier types on the bus. And I encountered a guy that I started talking to every time we'd run into each other on the bus. And it happened a few times, maybe 2 or 3 times. And then, like, on one of the, I think it was probably like the third or fourth time I talked to the guy, they always have the local radio going overhead on the news on the bus, and it in the radio overcame it was about a young family that had been killed in the city, and they were holding a vigil for him that night because it was a cold case for this young couple that had been killed. And this wanker that I had met, just some random, like homeless street dude, leaned over to me and started telling me how him and his buddies had done this double murder. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, is this just some crazy guy or what? But I'm into true crime and all that stuff, so I know how to do a little research. Like, I'm not a complete dummy. So when I went home that night, I started doing research, and I immediately found the case. Everything he told me was jiving up with what they were saying in the news and stuff. So I started trying to connect to detectives, and they weren't taking me seriously. The detectives weren't taking me seriously at all. So I ended up connecting with the news media. And then the detectives took me seriously. But at that point, so they charged the people, charges were filed. I was put on a protection program, so I wasn't supposed to be out running around at night. Like they wanted me inside. It wasn't like I couldn't, but they were like strongly advising me because a couple times like someone took a shot at me and stuff like leading up to the trials. So they put me on this like witness protection program type thing, and I wasn't supposed to be able to leave, so I was bored and stuck inside all night. And that's when I started getting on UFO Twitter. So like the first space I came on was UFO Shanes, and I knew it was kind of weird right away. Like I was like, dude, these guys are kind of fucking weird. But they were all into like the History Channel, Ancient Aliens, and Skinwalker Ranch shit. So it was a way for me to like hang out, and because I don't sleep much at night, so it was a way for me to like to spend, just to occupy my time at night because I wasn't supposed to be out roaming around. Well, eventually I made the mistake, and Red Panda Koala and his goons started to kind of like pull me in and talk to me. And I made the mistake of telling Panda about my situation that I was basically
When I do my edit, I will show videos when I actually was on the local news and stuff.
protection program, and that's why I was around.
'Cause
Blah
of
blah
me.
blah. Well, like very next day, I joined a Twitter space, and it was Logan and Tupa and Panda, and the first thing I heard was, well, what the fuck does this guy think he is? Batman or something? So right away I knew, like, dude, these guys are just in here putting all my business out to everybody. And then they got all quiet. And then I was like, Panda, what the fuck, dude? Like, dude, no one's supposed to know. I told you like we were friends. So that was kind of the first when I realized, like, dude, you cannot trust any of these people. Like, why did I tell this guy that? But he comes off so friendly and nice, when you're new and everything. And like he's one of the like bigger accounts. So I hung around with those guys for a while. And a lot of the spaces I was going in back then were Mellow Demon spaces. It would be like Logan.
This is a detail I forgot to add, and I had even had it written in my notes. When I would join the Tupa spaces back in those days, Tupa and the cult would be like, "Well, who's this TJ guy?" And Panda would go, "Oh, he's cool. He's a good neighbor." And that was the first time I heard the term "good neighbor," and I side-eyed it then. I was like, "What the fuck?" And it meant he's part of the group. I cued him in on who the bad guys are and the good guys, and he's a he'll follow orders. He'll play ball. And I did for a little bit, but they call it a good neighbor.
And Mellow Demon and all those people. And eventually happened there was Ashton Forbes came onto the scene, and he had been basically like booted over off of Discord or Reddit, wherever the fuck he came from, because they had basically debunked and were saw through his grift. And he popped up on UFO Twitter, and Tupa crew started doing spaces with him because they knew he had a bunch of crazies following him around, and they could grow together and all that.
He wouldn't. Ashton Forbes wouldn't have grown on Twitter, on UFO Twitter, if it wasn't for Tupacabra and those guys. They were the only ones that were really platforming him, and he was able to kind of branch out from that because he came from a platform where his had failed, so he needed a new audience, and Tupa and Panda helped him build that, and it's the most destructive grift that's probably hit ufology in a long time, the MH370 scam. Besides maybe the Nazca mummies, that might be the only other one I could think of.
Well, Mello wanted in on the Ashton Forbes grift too. So Mello was like trying to get Ashton to do some project with him so he could, get some clout off it. And I didn't really have an opinion at the time. I thought the video was kind of cool, the MH370 video, but dude, I was like not bothering anyone at that time. I was just like trying to coexist and feel things out. And what happened with that was Ashton Forbes ran into a different TeeJay on Reddit. I guess there's a guy that goes by, it's not spelled like mine, but I don't know but he goes by TeeJay something on Reddit, and he runs around talking shit. Well, who doesn't talk shit to Ashton, right? But anyways, Ashton thought it was me, and I woke up one day and I had like long like voice messages from Mello about how like I was out of the friend group because I didn't take it seriously enough.
Melodemon would send long voice chats, and you would wake up to him, and he would be like, "Bro, I saw you were like hanging out with UFO Shane last night. He was saying some really hurtful things, and well, we just don't think it." Like, dude, he was one of the most pathetic wankers, and now he circle jerks with all these guys. But he cut me off without even asking me. Like, hey, what'd you say to Ashton? They just like, you're out of our friend circle. You picked on Ashton, and I never talked to Ashton at that point. It was just another guy named TeeJay. So my Reddit, I think it was on Reddit. My Reddit doppelganger got me kicked out of my first friend circle. Damn TeeJay.
And it wasn't even me, it was a totally different TeeJay, but I was just kind of like, dude, fuck you. Like, all we were friends, and just for, some Ashton clout. So that kind of showed me, what those guys were about. And I was
And dude, I'll be honest and fair. I trolled Melodemon after that. I had been friends with him for a couple months at that point, and I supported him, and like I thought we were probably like real friends, and to get just thrown under the bus because he sees this guy that he could probably springboard off of and grow. That was my first taste of like, dude, these guys don't care about nothing other than their stupid Twitter accounts and meeting the big names. Like it's all about this like ufology rep that they think they have. I hate to break it to y'all, but if you're a name on UFO Twitter, you have a shit rep. Nobody takes anything from that platform like as credible.
was just starting
So
to get it. Like, dude, this is all about who can help me grow. That's all it really is on UFO Twitter, is like who can help my account grow. If I have upcoming projects I want to do, who can support them and spread them. There's no real like friends or loyalty or decency. Nobody's making decisions based on like, well, this dude is in the right. It's all about who's the bigger account, who can help me grow. Well, I'm gonna roll with them. And that I seem to notice that shit right away. Okay, and so that leads to I'm still kind of under the radar and everything. Like,
this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's my first time listening to it. I'm trying to get a recording. If you're out there listening, I'm listening to this space from last night back so I can get recordings for sound clips, and I'm going to do a project with them later.
I'm chilling at that point. I don't have enemies anywhere. Uh, and then they had the space with where they were all going at Ray. They were all ambushing Ray. It was Tupacabra and his whole crew, and they were accusing Ray of all this crap. Like, and I was new, so I didn't know, like honey potting, all this weird shit. I knew she was married. I had looked at Klaus's post and I was like, dude, this guy seems really intelligent. Like, I don't know what they're doing. But what I found out, and you'll see them down in the comments, is this whole fight, and this is what the whole UFO Twitter civil war was about, in my opinion. It all started right here. And it was this space, and I just joined the community, and I was in there. Like, at first I was kind of leaning on Tupa on their side, but it didn't last very long. Uh, but they were running Ray into the ground and just throwing all kinds of weird accusations at her that were coming out of nowhere. And then what
That was one of the first things that kind of started to tip me against the Tupa crew was this group of incel bros all ganging up on one girl. And they've carried that all the way through. They do it to J Just. They've been doing it to Misanthropy, like I mentioned. They did it to LP, and it'll be just like 4 or 5 of these like vile incels, and they're all ganging up on one girl. And I don't care if you think the girl's in the wrong. Like, dude, if me and my friends probably wouldn't even do that to the girl that tried to extort me. Like, she could join our space and we would treat her with respect, but they, they're incel assholes. Like, that's really the only way to put it. And I noticed that when I was new. I was like, dude, these guys are really going hard on that girl, because I didn't really know her then.
I found is it was all about these Reddit posts, these this long list of Reddit posts that Tupacabra had done over, and he was just running around being an edge lord, basically, like throwing shit like just go out into the hood and scream in bombs and see if they like you, like just saying
I'll put up the post. They're all documented, and he was just running around trying to rage bait people, saying racist shit, throwing hate speech around.
really dumb shit, and that was kind of his shtick over there. Well, it seemed to follow him over here, and like so he wanted to just like ditch that shtick, like this edge lord terrorizer over there, and come over here and be this like sophisticated wisdom speaker. And there were people that were like, "Dude, I knew you over there. Like, fuck that. No, no." And it seemed to kind of follow him over here.
People like King Milkfar, that they weren't gonna just let this go without at least a sincere apology, which he never gave. He never explained why he was saying the things he said. He just kind of gave like, "Oh, I was kind of an edgelord. You guys are cancel culture." Like,
Here. He kind of wanted to leave that persona behind. And there were people that were like, no, dude, like we know who you really are, which they've proven with all these scams, if you ask me. But so there was a line.
see, if UFO Twitter right then would have been like, "Look, dude, you're free to hang out, but your reputation and credibility is shit. We're not gonna platform you and help you grow. We're not gonna throw money at your dumbass projects or anything." If they would have nipped it right there, we wouldn't have had the Rogers coin rug pull. Like, there's a lot of things that you could have stopped from happening just by recognizing, nefarious activity early. He was ripping people off on merch back in those days. That should have been a red sign, a red flag. But, nope. Gotta protect the deer too. The gatekeepers of UFO Twitter, gotta protect them.
Drawn were like, and a lot of it was political, but it was in that space. I watched it happen. You had Benno and Carl and these other guys were
All
backing
MAGAs.
Tifa, and you could see like the emotes firing off, and that was the origins of it. If you ask me, it was maybe 3.5 years ago, and it started.
In my opinion, that is when the actual UFO Twitter civil war started. Was that one space where they all ganged up on Ray, and then everyone started kind of going crazy. The memes started flying, and yeah. And on what's interesting is on the one side, on the Lou Crew hate side, you know who the most vile offender was? It was Panda's whistleblower, Psych Ward Mike. He was on the other team then, and he was throwing all the hate that way. And then he switches teams, takes off his libtard shirt, puts on a MAGA hat, throws the hate the other way, and now he's Panda's whistleblower. It's UAP Mike.
Started in one space, and they all seem
So
to go.
he fired a lot of the shots in the UFO Twitter civil war, both directions. He's like one of the only people that did that. Like, like the worst of it. Both directions. Towards Tupa and Panda and towards the other way. And somehow this is a guy that people still hang out with.
After Ray about it. And what that is I learned later on, is when they can't really get to somebody, this specific group,
This
if
is
you ask me,
important.
were like, and a lot of it was political, but it was in that space. I watched it happen. You had Benno and Carl and these other guys were backing Tupa, and you could see like the emotes firing off, and that was the origins of it. If you ask me, it was maybe 3.5 years ago, and it started in one space, and they all seem to go after Ray about it. And what that is I learned later on, is when they can't really get to somebody, this specific group, they go after the people that are closest to them. So Klaus was the biggest name, and that was providing this alternative pushback against the Tupa crew. So they go after Ray because they can't match Klaus, right? Like, because Klaus is too intelligent. You're not gonna.
Klaus is a force. They can't really go toe to toe with Klaus. And what that forces him to do is make a decision. Is it worth it to put my wife through all this harassment to challenge these guys? I've had to make this decision when the girl they sent to infiltrate me was threatening to dox my mom's name and address and my sister's name and address. I had to make that decision. Is it worth it to, put people in my family through this just because I'm trying to expose these losers online? And it's a decision they kind of force you to make by targeting people closest to you. Misanthropy, I keep mentioning. It makes me feel awful when they do that. When she joins a space and they're calling her a dumb bitch just because she's friends with me, dude, and they know it makes me feel awful, and that's why they do it. And it's their tactics. It's the tactics they use.
Gonna match for these guys. You're not gonna match it.
It
So they started targeting Ray. So
it makes me feel awful when they do it to Jay Just too in Interstellar. Like, hey, dude, I've even told these people, like, look, just it's not worth it. Just don't be, distance yourself from me. It makes me feel like I'm toxic and can't get close to anybody because I don't want to make them a target. And I had the same thing with Coley here. Like, I told her over and over again, like, I don't want to get your channel attacked. I don't want to get you attacked. But she's already got a hate swarm on her from over in the Hidden in Plain Sight crew, so I think she's kind of initiated to it. I don't think you're gonna scare Coley. She pops in here shortly.
so that's when I started to kind of like side eye it. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this girl seems cool. She's always been nice to me. She just seems like one of these like spiritual little woo, like.
I'm talking about Ray here when they were trying to paint her as this like manipulative like succubus or something. I don't know what the fuck. One of the nicest girls you could ever encounter, and they were trying to villainize her.
Astrology. She's like, you're not gonna match it. Was the biggest name, and that was providing this alternative pushback against the Tupa crew. So they go after Ray because they can't match Klaus, right? Like, because Klaus is too intelligent. You're not gonna match for these guys. You're not gonna match him. So they started targeting Ray. So that's when I started to kind of like side eye it. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this girl seems cool. She's always been nice to me. She just seems like one of these like spiritual little woo, like, astrology. She goes out and like takes pictures of birds and stuff. Like, why are these guys all freaking out over this girl? And so I got to know her a little bit, and she was cool, just like everyone else they've hated. And that's the moment I saw the war started. After that is when Logan got arrested.
So think about that, you assholes, when you're doing that to these other girls just because they join a space and you're mad that they're participating in my live streams or whatever you guys are mad about. I can't even figure it out most of the time. But when you guys use those tactics, just like you turned me against y'all when you were doing it to Ray, you're turning other people against you when you do it to these other women in these spaces. Most people don't like that shit, dude. You're isolated in your little hate bubble, so you think that like calling a girl a fucking dumb bitch just because you don't like one of her friends is normal. But most people aren't cool with that. Just Psych Ward Mike and Ragey Chase and maybe Meth Cook Wakaka might be cool with that stuff because he likes smashing broads and stuff too. But most normal people aren't cool with that stuff, and I think you're gonna start to figure that out.
Of these events might be out of place, and there's pictures and recordings and shit down in the comments if anyone wants to go down there. So after that was around the time Logan got arrested. Okay, Logan, full stack Logan, he went and shacked up with a girl from the community, and they were, if you ask me, they were both being mutually abusive to each other.
And there's like 5 girls with the same name, and it's one of those girls. It's there's like a bunch of them, and they all have the same name, so it got real confusing on which one it was. But I know the girl that he was shacked up with.
But Logan ended up getting, the worst end of it one night and going to jail for it. They were over there beating on each other, is what it sounded like. It went on for, I don't know, probably 2 weeks straight, like where there were spaces where they were fighting, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what the?"
They were trying to do like simultaneous spaces where they would both be in the same space, and they were having domestic disputes during these UFO Twitter spaces. And the whole community watched it escalate until it exploded one night, and Logan went to jail for domestic assault.
Fuck. And he went to jail. He got arrested for domestic assault. He went to jail. He got out of jail like the next night, and instead of the community like contacting this girl and being like, "Dude, are you okay? What happened?" Everyone was like circled around the dude, Logan. Like everyone like circled a protective ring around this guy. And he
Oh, his poor doggy. Did anyone check on the girl? Like, you dumb fucks. How dare her throw his stuff out? She didn't want him back in the house. She had just been assaulted. Like, it was, dude, you people.
he was crying about his dog, and they sent him money to get him home and shit. And that's when I really started to like look at things like, what the fuck is this? How would you
Panda Crew's gonna have to fire up the damage control spaces.
how do you look at a domestic abuse situation and then everyone circles the guy and ignores the girl? Like I was the only one I think that like showed any concern or like even like interest. Like, well, what really happened? Are you okay? Everyone else was more concerned about doing damage control for Logan. That's what the Tuba crew does. They'll circle around their little gatekeeper buddy, and then they'll do damage control for the next month and try to push it out of the memory of everybody. Well, she held a hard drive over his head to keep him the fuck away.
And just that alone. Okay, if I was in this situation and say this hard drive right here on this computer ended up in the girl that I just assaulted's hands, it would be full of just game streams and maybe a couple Zanny photos. There would be no reason to freak out or even hold it over my head. The only reason it becomes dirt to hold over someone's head is if there's something on it that is dirt. So what's on it? And I asked these questions when they started offering $10,000 to get it back. Yes, they were posting and holding spaces, offering $10,000 to anybody who would go rob it back. I don't know how they expected anyone to get it back. How they probably didn't give a fuck, but they were offering $10,000, and it was the Tupa crew. It was Logan, Tupa. I don't, Panda was around, but I don't know how much participating he was. Hey Ocean was involved, and they were running around the community talking and back channeling. Hey, do you think you can talk to So about getting Logan's hard drive back? And I started asking, well, what is on this fucking hard drive? And I wasn't the only one asking what's on this hard drive. UFO Shane made comments that there was CP on the hard drive. Klaus apparently thought it was strange. They denied it later, wanted to just sweep the whole thing under the rug. In a recorded space, they called me a liar in front of the whole community, said I was making up the $10,000 ransom thing. Then I went and found screenshots, so they had to admit to it. A lot of this stuff they want it to go away. They like a year or two goes by, and so they think that saves them somehow. But the question still stands. What was on this hard drive? And if Logan and the Tupa crew helped, they involved the entire community to try to track this thing down, it makes everyone culpable. It involves all of UFO Twitter and whatever is on that hard drive. And I doubt it's anything good. I'm just gonna say that. It's nothing good on that hard drive. I think it's safe to say you could probably go on a limb and say there's probably nothing good on that freaking hard drive.
And they started offering 10 grand for this mysterious hard drive. They were holding entire spaces about it, being like, help Logan get his hard drive back.
Now, if that hard drive had any kind of illicit material on it, and say it was like weird modified AI pornography, whatever, and these guys were sharing it and passing it around in DMs and stuff, would that connect all of them to this hard drive and make them all culpable in whatever crimes are committed on that hard drive? That's called sharing illicit material. Would that cause them to start offering 10 grand to try to get this hard drive under control and under wraps? It seems like it would probably make them act a little weird and panicky and hold damage control spaces and try to politic the girl to not turn it in. And that's what happened. But I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for asking questions.
And the questions on that is, first off, well, how, if you think she has this hard drive, are you asking for someone to go break into her house and steal it back? Like, what are you trying to pay someone $10,000 to do?
That's a real important question. This is a girl that you just got convicted of for assaulting. And now you're back on UFO Twitter trying to persuade the community to go try to sleaze into her life and steal your hard drive back? You're offering 10 grand? And nobody else thought that was weird?
And I just had questions about the whole thing. Like, and then my next question was, what is on this hard drive? What is on a hard drive where you can't upload it to the cloud? Because, and Logan is one of the most tech savvy people over there. He does all this AI programming and shit, but for some reason he couldn't like load this stuff to the cloud to preserve it. It makes no sense. And there's only a few reasons you are afraid to put things in the cloud, and everyone knows what they are. So I started to look at it sideways. Like, first off, if you're going to ask the community for help to get this hard drive back, don't we deserve to know what's on the fucking thing to make it such a big deal?
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good point. If you're eliciting the entire community, hey, we should all come together and help Logan get his mysterious hard drive back, they have a right to ask what's on it. Just like when King Wakaka had his prison buddies running around on the community trying to raise money for his defense fund when he got caught cooking meth. We had a right to ask, well, what's his charges? But no, you get attacked for that. I think I got called a dumb little bitch, and I was told that I don't understand the gangster shit. I don't understand about getting UFO Twitter to pay for my legal fees when I get caught cooking meth. That's gangster shit. That's who runs UFO Twitter. That's who this crew is these guys. Meth cooks and woman beaters. Talking about philosophy and Santeria and aliens, bro.
And just these questions started to get everyone,
Smashing bitches.
looking at me weird. And in my opinion, like I was just to them, I was challenging the UFO Twitter gatekeepers. Like I was challenging their reputation on Twitter. To me, I was just asking logical questions because it just didn't make any fucking sense what was going on. Like none of it made any sense.
And to expand on that, why I was asking these questions is because I didn't want to get close to an online community that was onto some shit, like sharing around illicit materials. I didn't want to look around one day and find myself surrounded by goofies. So I was trying to protect myself because I don't associate with those types of people. People that engage in sharing CP or will hang out with people they know engage in that type of behavior. I don't fuck with it. Woman beaters, I don't support him. I grew up watching my dad beat on my mom. When he got bored roughing up my mom, a lot of times it was turned on me, and I don't fucking tolerate it. Like zero tolerance. If you are a convicted woman beater, I'm not gonna go out of my way to fuck with you, but you shouldn't be a pillar of an intellectual online community, especially when you assaulted a girl from that community. It's absurd. Like, dude, there needs to be a little bit of a level of standards, or else that little crew is just running us all into the mud, which is what they've done. And everyone let them do it.
So after that, then UFO Shane gets arrested too. And UFO Shane's charges, if I understand correctly, were a
It just
charge
keeps
stemming
going.
from an incident he had with his grandmother. There was a financial dispute with his family where he ended up with debit cards or credit cards and he maxed them out and he ended up getting
I'm tiptoeing around it because recently I've been cool with Shane. The dude stole from his grandma. Like, there's no other way to put it. He robbed his grandma.
charged for it. Well, when he got arrested, Tupa and Panda and all these guys tried to spin it that it was somehow like KMF and Darren and all these other people, their enemies, false. So what I started to see is like every time
How they tried to spit it as these other people's fault is suddenly there was a story that these evil Lou crewers called bounty hunters on him. And it ended up being Fred Rogers, if I heard correctly. Fred Rogers was the one that tipped off his location. It wasn't bounty hunters. They just sent sheriff's deputies to apprehend him because he had a warrant for that stemmed from when he stole from his family. But they spun this story as a ammunition against the Lou crew again. And had zero to do with Lou crew. So anything that would happen bad in the community, somehow it was like KMF's fault. It's just like, dude, this is getting stupid.
would fuck up, somehow it would be KMF's fault or Darren's fault. And that started to become a really common theme. Oh, Coley's here. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Coley, you rock.
If you guys are still around at the end, we'll bring people up. And if these other people want to come in and come up and clear things up, they're free to, because I know a lot of them are probably down in the anonymous section. But what I'm trying to say is like you guys canceled me from this community for asking very sane and logical questions about some very shady and mysterious activity that's been going on since I got here. Like that's kind of what I'm saying. I sent you an invite, Coley, if you want to come up and co-host.
I think it took her like two or
If you
three
guys have any
times to
questions
get
too.
up.
Um,
It was me
so
glitching. It had
after
to
the
be.
let's see, after the UFO Shane thing, and this is what was kind of interesting about that whole situation too, is when UFO Shane was in jail, the Tupa crew was like desperately trying to like benefit from it. They were holding spaces about it and arguing about it. The guys they were trying to blame for all this were actually trying to get Shane out of jail. Like they were the ones that, and they used it against him. They were the ones putting money on his commissary and checking on him and stuff. But his friends were all trying to figure out how can we blame this on the scary Lou crew. And
That's a super common theme too. Is there'll be like really scary things going on in the community, and while the Tupa crew and Panda and them are trying to figure out how to like maximize numbers in a space, all these evil Lou crew people are actually like talking like, dude, what should we do? Can anyone get come up with money to send him? He doesn't have food on his books, and that's what they did. And they were using his arrest against these people, and they were the only ones that were trying to help him and make sure he had, food to at least eat while he was in jail and stuff, or money, on your commissary. And once again, they were blamed. And if I heard correctly, it was Fred Rogers who called, ended up, and so inside their own crew. Fred Rogers, the guy that orchestrated the Rogers coin rug pull, the monologue scam, if you ask me. He runs all these mysterious accounts. He was pulling these strings too. And it got blamed on this mysterious Lou crew. Well, did anyone get an apology? Like, no? Oh, okay.
they were charges that had nothing to do with anybody but UFO Shane. They were in it was an arrest team that came to serve a warrant. The thing about these bounty hunters and machine guns and all this stuff, I don't believe any of it. It doesn't make any sense. They don't send bounty hunters with machine guns to serve stale warrants.
Bounty hunters are for bail recover. They're bail recovery agents. So bounty hunters work for the bail bondsman. When you bail out of jail and you give money to the bail bondsman, the money is agreement that you're going to come back and go to court. When you don't go to court, they send bounty hunters after you to find you, and it's so they can cover their losses. He had a warrant out, and they came and served the warrant. There's no bounty hunters. That it wouldn't have been bounty hunters. He hadn't been to jail. So
His warrant came up, and they were probably like, Shane, it's time to come in and serve your warrant, bro. You got to answer for this charge. They painted this picture to villainize people, and it had nothing to do with him. This was all Shane's personal problems, which anyone with a brain would know that. But yeah, it was another thing that was used against.
it had to be a panda plot. Dude, how can we blame this on the Lou crew? Shane getting arrested for his dirtbaggery.
The evil Lou crew. After that, I was, I had about enough of it. And then I'm not gonna name the girl, but they did the same thing. There was a girl that was in a space. She had issues with drug use, and it went bad, and she ended up getting checked on by an agency because she was in these spaces showing that she was struggling mentally and with drug addiction.
And I don't mean just like acting a little weird. She was losing her mind. She was talking about unaliving herself. She was saying that she couldn't separate reality from her dreams anymore. She was talking about how when Logan and those guys would say something to her, the TV would react in synchronicity with it. She was clearly like in a bad situation. It was one of the more scarier things I've heard on UFO Twitter. And what was really sad about it is while you were listening to her go through this psychotic episode, there was a kid crying in the background. So we're all just like, "Oh my God, like what the fuck do we do?" I bet a lot of people were probably thinking about calling the police, but nobody did in this space.
and she told a story about how like she ended up at some hotel and all this stuff. I'm not going to name the girl, but she ended up getting checked on by CPS. Well, once again, it was the evil Lou crew did it. And anyone that was listening to those spaces would have said, holy shit, this girl needs help. Like, someone needs to go check on this girl and her kids. Like,
But that's not what Red Panda Koala said. He said, how can I use this against my enemies? He doesn't give two shits about the well being of these people. Where the evil Lou crew was actually discussing, like, holy crap, bro, that kid's in a bad spot. Could you imagine watching your mom have this mental episode and you're there alone with her and she's screaming and crying hysterically and flipping out at the television? Like, yeah, this is bad. We need to do something. And you guys are all like, well, great. We can really use this against our enemies. That's the theme. Don't care about anybody.
like anyone with a brain or compassion would have been thinking that. Now, if you don't want to take the step to actually call, I understand that. Like there's a decision everyone has to make at like, am I going to get involved in this situation? But you don't.
I was thinking about calling. Like, I was honestly thinking about calling an anonymous call and just being like, you need to do a welfare check on this girl. Not to get her arrested, not to get her kid taken away, to get her help because she needed it.
You don't criticize somebody who does step up and make that decision because they thought they were doing the right fucking thing. The girl needed help. She was talking about hurting herself and stuff, and her kid was around. And that one was kind of the final straw. I saw them use.
And that mental spiral was from living in these Twitter spaces with the same thing the girl is doing today. She hasn't changed anything. She seems to even be more deeper in it now. She said in the space she was losing the ability to tell what was on Twitter and what was real life. And the Logan would mention pizza, and then pizza would pop up on the TV, and she was thinking these guys were controlling her TV and stuff. These were the things she was saying in the space. We were watching someone go into psychosis and stuff. But no, evil Lucre's fault.
That situation where it was their friends, it was their little friend circle behaving in unhealthy ways, and somehow it was always the evil Lou Crew's fault. Like every single time, it would somehow get pushed on the evil Lou Crew, and I was already having like, dude, this is getting stupid. And then they ran Dandy out. They found my friend had a game stream from, I don't know, a couple years back, and he played some game they thought was not good. So they canceled him and ran him out, which I thought was stupid. Around this time, Skyfire News came out. I don't know if you guys remember Skyfire News. Skyfire News dropped, and basically that was where Red Panda Koala connected with Keemstar and started to shape his Keemstar method narrative.
You'll get all proper credit.
Thing I'm telling you, bro. Let me put you on the Keemstar fucking thing, bro. Get your account making some money, dude.
You'll get all proper credit.
Thing I'm telling you, bro. Let me put you on the Keemstar fucking thing, bro. Get your account making some money, dude.
You'll get all proper credit.
Thing I'm telling you, bro. Let me put you on the Keemstar fucking thing, bro. Get your account making some money, dude.
The what?
And it feeds into each other. What's how to grift off fucking X, basically.
I don't want to grift off X.
Yeah, you do.
I just need one of these rich CIA people just come through and drop a couple out. I'll be alright.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk.
Astro's right here.
Oh shit, what up, Ash?
They ran Skyfire News for a short time. They ran it into the ground because they were just kind of using it to weaponize against people they didn't like and to bring.
Dude, that segment where Keemstar fires Tupacabra publicly on the Lockout Universe channel, they've deleted that. So there was some kind of NDA signed with these guys where it's like, well, you don't clown us and we won't clown you. Because Tupa and Panda knew that if everyone found out, because Keemstar usually runs people through the mud when he fires them. And he did to Tupa Cabra, but he deleted the clip, I think, because I've had a hard time finding it. He fired him publicly but that was for the editor of the LawCal I think it was LawCal Live at the time.
on their friends, but they never seemed to put any thought into like who's entertaining and who's not. It was just like, well, let's get our buddies on here. Let's get Psych Ward Mike on here. And
yeah, break Mike on here to play with a little kid's toy.
First of all right, I'm not going to say who this person out here is claiming to be on stimulants. Someone I know who says they're a therapist, claiming to be on stimulants and then also uses marijuana. Claiming to be on stimulants and then also uses marijuana. Claiming to be on stimulants and then also uses marijuana.
What the fuck were you all doing? Talk shit about Ray. That's what you think the country wants to hear about ufology?
that's why it failed. It Keemstar.
That and Alex Jones was right. Well, I hate to admit it, but Alex Jones is right about the Project Bluebeam stuff that he's saying today. He's right about all this ufology drop shit being a hoax.
Weaponize against people they didn't like and to bring on their
So maybe
friends,
he was
but
right.
they never seemed to put any thought into like who's entertaining and who's not. It was just like, well, let's get our buddies on here. Let's get Psych Ward Mike on here. And that's why it failed. It Keemstar, the numbers were atrocious compared to his other channels. So
Well, and plus Keemstar wanted people to fight. You guys would created a little echo chamber over there on Skyfire. You wouldn't let anybody with a different opinion on. I bet Keemstar probably noticed that. If you watch the LCU, dude, he makes people that hate each other work together. Like he wants them to fight. And these guys are afraid to even like I've invited them on my show and stuff. They're scared to death. They all creep into the live chat and stuff, but they're scared to come on and talk. So it probably made Keemstar like these guys are cowards. Like they just want to sit here with their buddies in their little incel echo chamber and talk shit about some lady named LP that I've never met.
he pulled the plug really quick. It was a crash and burn because they couldn't. I don't know if they just didn't grasp it then. I think now Panda might do better with it if he did it alone, but
he understands the
that's
Keemstar
where
method
Panda
now.
learned the Keemstar method. If you go into the comments on where I posted the space on my account, there's the Keemstar method where Red Panda Koala is recorded talking about it. He's trying to get Wakaka to come aboard. And he says, bro, I'll teach you the Keemstar method. And what the Keemstar method is stir up drama. It's keep people fighting. So if you caught this space earlier tonight where we were all in talking about, these scientists, Wilcock and Amy Eskridge, and everyone was getting along and everything was fine. Red Panda Koala suddenly is throwing, these allegations about a girl that I knew back in the day. That's trying to stir the drama. That's the Keemstar method. It's to keep everyone fighting. UFO Mike's never-ending bring your beef spaces. All of it. Like that is the Keemstar method. And when people talk, you got to listen to him because he tells you what he was planning on doing. And things after that point started to escalate. If you watch, they started to threaten people a lot more. They started to do regular things like wish people were dead. They were always drunk. Like they started to make UFO Twitter into this lolcow universe. And that's what they call Keemstar's world, the LCU, the lolcow universe. That's what they're.
I will play the clip when I do the edit. So a lot of this stuff I'm talking about later on, the video I'm going to put on YouTube later tonight, it'll have the clips in between to prove the receipts, like you call
They're
it.
trying to emulate here. And that's what people really need to understand. They tell you what they're doing. So it's not a mystery or anything. It's just people don't either there's this like aspect of loneliness that people have on this app where they're bored and lonely at night, and if the only space is the convicted woman beater
I'm going
space, they're
to
willing to join it.
use the
And I don't
restroom.
know, like, I guess I don't want to criticize those people, but especially these women, like, why are you
I'm going to go use the restroom. I'm just going to let it keep playing. So,
willing to open up your mind to a guy, the only convicted woman beater in the community, a guy that assaulted a girl from the community? Like this, some of this shit would not really work out anywhere else on the internet. And what's interesting is these guys that canceled David Wilcock, these hidden in plain sight guys, Stephen Cambion, who do they tend to go after and target? A woman beater, PDFs, things like this. And this is what you find all over UFO Twitter, but they don't want anything to do with it when it's here. They don't want to address it. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to know about it. And it's like, so what is going on? Are you being told to target specific people? Because I could give you several examples of obvious scumbaggery, but you don't want to see it. Why? You want to go attack David Wilcock because he mentioned bathing in pee 3 years? But around this time is when I met Leah Prime, and why I met Leah Prime is this is a thing that's been thrown around and used. The like she was honeypotting all the crazies on UFO Twitter to weaponize them against Tupa, and it's just like everything else. The actual truth is like not even exciting, and it's just typical. I saw LP when she was on Alien Girl's program. It was called the Galentine's event, and Alien Girl had like 3 or 4 girls on, and they were going to talk about UFOs and aliens, and they were all cute. So I decided I was going to watch it, and Alien Girl just like didn't really seem to do a lot of preparation for it, so she wasn't like controlling the show. It was just kind of dead, and LP like stepped up and took control of the entire like episode, and she was giving out the questions, and dude, it ended up being really good, and it just impressed me. I was like, holy shit, that girl really stepped up and saved that thing from going off the tracks. So I DM'd her, and I was like, dude, that was cool of you to save Alien Girl's broadcast the other night, and we became friends. That was all it was. Just like, Misanthropy, she was part of the documentary about the Nazca mummies. And I did a segment on it. It included her segment
hey,
from Incredible History. She saw it and thought it was cool, and we started talking. But somehow these women like being friends with me is nefarious, or it has to be, like honeypotting to get to Tupa. It's fucking insane. And these guys using this shit and keep pushing. Dude, they had a space going earlier today accusing someone of honeypotting. It was called Honeypots Only. Basically, what these guys do is any girl that's friends with them, they think they're in love with them. So when it goes bad, it's automatically honeypotting.
Another one they did it with was Vinny. I was friends with Vinny, and they had to get involved and drive a wedge in that. They started holding spaces with their name in the title and stuff. These guys seem to have issues. I mean, I that's 3 women now that they've targeted just for being in the vicinity of me, and people want to act like there's not something nefarious going on here.
That's a common theme. But so I became friends with LP, and they all started trying to use that again, that this idea that she had a server that nobody ever.
To be fair, it was actually kind of interesting with LP because I was actually targeted for being friends with her on this end. They were trying to paint this whole narrative that the LP was like this mastermind of the Loot Crew hate group, and it was so absurd and dumb that because she was just so cool and was so against any kind of negative or like necessary drama and wasted energy online. She'd be the first person to tell you that just to, just ignore people and to stay out of the bullshit. And they tried to target her as the mastermind of the Lou Crew Hate group. And once again, I met her just like Ray or KMF or any of these other people they tried to demonize, and she was cool as fuck. It seems like they only target the coolest people in the community. And she was caring and she checked on me when I was spinning out, and she was a good friend and she was loyal and she didn't share secrets. Things I would tell her I could trust they weren't going anywhere. And that's things you can't say about pretty much anyone else on UFO Twitter, but I can say these things about all these people that they tried to run off and cancel for whatever reason. I mean, you can name what, Ray? What was your reason to cancel Ray, guys? Because she was on what, Ativan or something? Vyvanse? Like, you guys are insane. Because she smoked pot? Like, I don't even remember what your reason to cancel her was. But they'll find a reason, and yeah, it's a shame, and it makes me feel like shit when they do that type of stuff. But
approved because Panda's the only one with a giant server. It was
oh yeah, and that's the ironic part about it, is it's proven now that Panda's the only one running a server collecting personal information on people. We have screenshots of it, and it's got everyone down to Cartot on it. A file on Cartot. Red Panda Koala, why do you need a file on Cartot? Has anyone ever wondered why Panda has a folder on Cartot?
was LP is another person, another intelligent female that wouldn't they couldn't control, so they had to get rid of her. And dude, there's so
Don't worry, I'll put the screens up so you can see.
many of them.
You're gonna have to watch the video later tonight.
There's Money Penny that just recently, and she's not part of our friend group. They're trying to run Misanthropy off, calling her a fucking dumb bitch anytime she joins a space. There's LP. There's Ray. They tried to get Ray fired from her job because she was on a prescription. They were trying to call her work and say she shouldn't be able to work with children because she had talked about being on a prescription. Like, these guys have run so many Vinny published.
So Psych Ward Mike overrules a doctor now. He has a better mind to decide who should be on medications than a fucking doctor now. That's what they were doing on Skyfire News. Criticizing girls from the community for being on fucking Vyvanse because women get chemical imbalance when they reach a certain age. Not that any of these moronic incels would know that.
Author. They pushed her out of the community with drama and bullshit and, our side or their garbage that she didn't want to engage in. And these are authors and medical professionals and, people who work with children. Like, these are people that we need in our spaces to educate us. But instead, we let Tupacabra and Red Panda Koala and Chase and Mike run them off for what? Like, what are we getting in return when these guys run off all the intelligent women that come through UFO Twitter? Oh, we get more bring your beef spaces? Dude, like, wake up. One thing I learned that was really wild is Kimball often cries about, like, dude, I'm not Tupa crew. Early when I first got here, I was
I'm gonna rewind. That was the goofiest fucking impersonation.
dude, like, wake up. One thing I learned that was really wild is Kimball often cries about like, dude, I'm not Tupa crew. Early when I first got here, I would ask myself a lot, how are these guys able to live in Twitter spaces for days on end? Logan just did an 8-day Twitter space run, 8 days straight. That's poor mental health. That's nothing to celebrate. But I would ask like,
Why I said that's nothing to celebrate? Because this crazy's been doing is every couple months he'll do like like 6 day long Twitter space where he doesn't close the space for literally 6 days. And then at the end of it, they all celebrate. Like, yay! We lived on Twitter for 6 days and neglected our personal families and personal lives and then everything important to us.
Your presence here is becoming a problem.
Okay, sure.
You are a bully and you are narcissistic, and it is becoming a problem.
And then a couple months later, he'll do 7 days. And then at the end of that, yay! We neglected our personal lives for 7 days and lived in Twitter spaces. And then this time they did like 8 days. And they did the same thing at the end. They'll change the name to like, we did it. And it's like, what is going on here? Why am I the only adult that is looking at this like, dude, these fuckers are losing their minds?
how are they able to do this shit? Like, none of them are internet celebrities. They're not making any money. How are they able to live and take control of UFO Twitter like this?
They are making money now, but at this time, they weren't.
And in the early days, the reason was Kimball. Kimball was giving these guys large loans, and whenever they would get behind on their bills because they were living on UFO Twitter spaces, he would bail them out. So Kimball, if you ask me, he financed the Tupa Crew hate group in the early days. He financed all the scams because they probably would have had to go get jobs and live like normal
Him and Fred Rogers financed all of it.
people at some point, like if he wouldn't have, but he financed them through all that, so he's definitely culpable in it.
And why I think he did that is because for some reason Kimball was kind of always like the runt of the litter of the little like gatekeeper crew. You had like Tupa and Panda and Shane, and Kimball always kind of got picked on, and Logan, and he felt like this was his way where he could kind of be important, because he comes from a family with wealth. He was, so his part of the group will be to bail them out financially when, Logan doesn't get a job and lives on spaces for 8 days.
Then when he financed these losers and they didn't pay back his loans with interest, he tried to leverage that to use against them.
And there was interest. They wrote out contracts, and it would be like I think the Tupacabra one was like $2,000, and he gave him like three options. One was like $2,000, and then he had to pay back 2,500, or he could do like dude. It was written up like a fucking payday loan sheet. So Kimball was loan sharking on UFO Twitter. Like, I mean, there's no other way around it. But the reason why you can't really call it loan sharking is because Kimball is such a poontang that he doesn't have the ability to collect. So, in order to be a real loan shark, you have to be able to go collect the debt, and Kimball can't. So, these guys knew, like,
which it was just a circle of scumbaggery. You're gonna open up loan sharking on UFO Twitter. That was another thing that just really was weird to me when I got here. Had to go get jobs and live like normal people at some point, like if he wouldn't have. But he financed them through all that, so he's definitely culpable in it. And then when he financed these losers and they didn't pay back his loans with interest, he tried to leverage that to use against them, which it was just a circle of scumbaggery. You're gonna
Kimball knew those guys were going to have a really hard time paying that money back, and he knew then he could take the spotlight for a while and bitch about it and cry. And that's the Keemstar method. A lot of Keemstar, the LCU is fabricated drama. Just keep it stirring.
And it seems there's only one group that kind of injects that financial motive to everything. Fred Rogers and UFO Shane and Kimball and all these guys, they were the ones that were always injecting this, because wherever money goes, people are going to fight. But if you look at
Me and my group of friends, none of us have ever had any kind of fights over money. I've never seen anyone, even an argument over, I loaned you this money and now I need it back. And it seems to be common with just that online community, which is something I just wasn't ready for. And one person I left out that's always balls deep in anything related to trying to make some fast money is Doomer Daddy. He bought all of our soul domain names. Like one day we woke up and everyone's finding out pretty much anyone with a recognizable name from UFO Twitter, suddenly someone had bought their name on the Soul, at Soul, Solar, whatever the fuck. And it was Doomer Daddy. He bought everyone's domain names, and he bought two for me. It was TeeJay Felony and Felony Talk. And this is some kind of financial scheme they're cooking up. I heard him rambling about it in a Logan space one night. They're gonna try to like pay people in crypto to do Twitter spaces all night, and that way he could be like, "See, I already got you set up with a domain and everything, bro. Here's your, Rogers coin for the dumbass space you did last night, or your, anime psyop dumbfuck coin or whatever." And that's what the plot is. And yeah, it was a plot from day one when he bought up our names. Dude, he bought up everyone's. Anybody that, like, seriously, anybody. It wasn't just me, but it's another scam that's in the works that everyone just kind of talked about for a day and then forgot about. I ask him about it all the time because I heard people got control of theirs back, but none of me or my friends ever did. And yeah, I want to know those accounts are either in my possession or deactivated because I'll never take part in the crypto bullshit. But now there's crypto accounts that are TeeJay Felony, Felony Talk, like that's bullshit, and it's a scam. This guy is cooking up some kind of financial scam, and everyone fucking knows it's happening. But oh well, is he having a space? Let's talk Doomer Daddy. It's fucking bullshit.
yeah, like say Fringe and people like her, they're not getting. You never hear them getting involved in this type of shit. There's one little group, and their motive seems to be.
I say that French kind of hangs out with Doomer. They're known as the Doom Crew. But her personally, yeah, there's some people that you can just tell. Misanthropy is one. They're just here to talk about interesting things. They're not here to engage in any of that extracurricular bullshit. And I think Fringe is another one.
Get famous at all costs and make money, and it seems pretty obvious to me. But so that led to the UFO Shane and Kristen situation. Oh, around that time is when I became friends with King Milk Part 2. When I became friends with Leah Prime and I realized she was cool as fuck and everybody was wrong about her, I immediately started thinking, well, they must be wrong about KMF too. So I started talking to KMF and learned he was just a troll. He just liked triggering them because anyways, which, who doesn't?
So one of the ways I became friends with KMF, it was kind of how I first talked to him, is he was posting memes to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they were borderline for sure. And I DM'd him about him, and I was like, dude, this is kind of bugging me. And we talked about it for like 2 hours. We went back and forth on like him trying to explain why it's just trolling and it's just the internet. To get over it, and me trying to explain like, dude, this is just kind of but what I learned is that KMF is very approachable. He'll meet you man to man and have a discussion with you, and he treated me with respect from day one, even while I was coming to whine about and virtue signal about some meme. He was cool with me. So my bar really, treat me with respect and and come with me like a person, and I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm not judgy or anything, and KMF never seemed like somebody that was worth canceling or judging. He just trolled you guys and made you all feel bad about yourself because you all are fucking weird.
But yeah, I started being friends with KMF and really started getting a lot of shit then. I think when everyone knew like I was friends with KMF and I wouldn't deny it in a space, that's when I was hit on sight. Like if I joined a space, it was hit on sight. Like, oh, I give him shit because he's friends with KMF. And
it would come from Tupa or Panda or Mike or even Non-Cred and Kimball would do it. What they would do is they would bring up some random shit that KMF had said or allegedly said, because I don't know if they're just fabricating bullshit, and they would be like, "What about this? Well, what wouldn't KMF?" It's like, "What about it?" Like, I didn't say it.
that's like I mentioned earlier, that's a really common tactic they use. And because they couldn't get to KMF, right? It's another person they couldn't really get to. The typical tactics didn't work on him. So what they try to do is go after the people that you're becoming friends with and drive wedges.
Just like they're going after Jay Justin Interstellar now. They were doing that to me about KMF, trying to sever the friendship. It's to control and dominate the cyber cult that is UFO Twitter. Make sure you know I, it's high school bullshit, and it's so obvious that we're too old for all this.
And that seems to be the tactic they're using a lot today. Is anybody that they see me talking to or working, maybe thinking about doing a project with, they're trying to wedge in, they're getting in the back channels, but they don't have any real reason. Like that's a lot. Like, what's your reasons? Because I watch what's going on Twitter, and when I see weird shit, I ask about it and call it out. Like, they never seem to have reasons. Like,
Panda says he loves my channel. He just doesn't like it when I cover them. So, these guys like what I do. They spend so much time talking about it in spaces. They're probably coming in and out of my live right now because my numbers keep going up and dropping. But they just don't like when I put the spotlight on them. Kimball loves it when I put it on Panda. But when I put it on Kimball, then now I've gone too far. Vice versa. If I do an episode on Leary, and how he's basically joined a UFO Twitter cult while we all watched, Panda likes those videos. But if I turn the spotlight on him, he's false striking them. And they are false striking my videos. They're reporting every video I put out. Every one I put out gets reported. It doesn't matter what's in it.
Nobody ever shows screenshots or videos of me wishing death on anybody. It's just screenshots of me being like, this is what happened. Here's the screenshots. This person's a phony wanker. Like, am I really that bad? I don't see it, but I guess everyone has their opinion. But yeah, that came up to the UFO Shane.
Save me, Coley. This is when I started to run out of steam. And I was thinking, I took notes on a book for a day, or like over a day, and I had a bunch of notes, and I was trying to go down them in like chronological order, and I was running out of energy.
And Kristen's situation, which that's when I really started to. After that situation, I saw these guys as deserving of any kind of trolling or online shit that they might get. So what happened is there was she's still around the community. I probably shouldn't have named her because I'm trying to keep names out of it. I won't name her again. But
I named her a couple more times. I'm sorry, Kristen. I tried not to name her every time, and I end up doing it. Yeah, I'm just stupid. I'm airheaded. I'm not trying to bring you into any drama. You just do your thing.
UFO Shane is known for getting money off people from the community. That's kind of his.
UFO Shane special. We're grifting for rent. We're grifting for rent. Grifting for rent, for rent, for rent. I need to pay my bills, bills, bills.
Is like becoming buddies with you and then being like, man, I'm really hard up. I need money. And people send it to him. Well, what happened was he convinced a girl from the community that they were like going to be together. They were, some kind of romantic relationship, that they were close. They were close friends. They were, they were falling and they had a real thing together. Well, she sent him $800 to come visit her. She sent him money for a plane ticket. Like, dude, we're gonna go on vacation. This is gonna be great. They planned it, and she was all excited, and he just pocketed the fucking money. And then they laughed about it in his face. Like, I can't believe these people are so stupid to send us $800. And they sat and laughed about it in his face. UFO Shane, Kimball, I think Panda probably joined and acted like he, cared, but I'm sure he thought it was hilarious too.
I bet he would. I disavow, guys. Giggle, giggle. Giggle, giggle. I'm praying for her. Giggle, giggle.
And this girl, she tried to take her own life. She was so upset about what had happened, and she was so embarrassed that she had a self-harm incident and ended up in the hospital. And once again, this was playing out on UFO Twitter. Everyone knew about it, was gossiping about it. But instead of anyone checking on this fucking girl, everyone was in a UFO Shane and Kimball space clowning and making fun of this person over it. Like, dude, are you falling in love on Twitter? What are you, retarded? Like, these are some of the most vile
My
fucking people I've
impressions.
ever encountered in my life. So,
Dude, I don't even remember firing off that impression. Like, sometimes they just come out and I'm not even like thinking about it. That one was really bad.
I talked to her, I got the real story, and I learned like these people will eat anybody, including one of the nicest girls you could probably encounter in the community. If they want that money, they will fucking run them over to get it. And after that, dude, honestly, I didn't have much compassion. Like,
That's where I started to kind of, yeah, you could say maybe cross some lines. I mean, there's a possibility that I cross some lines, but when I saw these guys do that to that girl, um, I felt like they deserved it, man. I was like, these guys deserve to know what it feels like, just to have the tables turned. And I've apologized to Shane for some of the things I've said to him. I never got my account taken down. I was never locked for harassment or anything. I don't think I ever called any of these guys, anything other than wanker, probably the worst, but I did probably go out of my way to remind them of the shit they had done to people. And yeah, but that incident really fucking pissed me off. I've had people, women specifically, with mental health issues in my life, my whole life, and just the lack of compassion and dude, she's such a nice girl too. Like that anyone would laugh when someone's going through that. And it painted this it also was a demonstration of how important this online community becomes to these people, and when it's kind of threatened to be severed, it's dangerous. That's what was going on with the one girl that was having the mental break. She was afraid of losing her online community. People were telling her she needed to take a break, and she's like, "You guys don't want me around anymore." Like going just out of control. And it's mental health issues, like, and it needs to be handled delicately. It doesn't need to be harvested for the fucking Keemstar method. Like, I'm telling you guys, this guy, Red Panda Koala, he is trying to drive this community towards a tragedy. He seems to want it. He's gassing up these people. He's he's gassing up these people. Oh shit, man, my OBS is doing something crazy. I'm still good. He's gassing up these people that, for one, have known mental health conditions with Mike. I'm gonna put up proof. And then Chase, who is telling the community that he is plotting and how easy it would be to fly across the country and clip somebody and then fly back so nobody would ever know. And Panda is gassing these people up, encouraging them, motivating them, platforming them. And they're saying things like they want me to be found dead of, a drug overdose, and how funny it's going to be when I'm found dead. My friends, it's going to be funny if their surgery is botched and they end up as vegetables. These guys are going above and beyond where it needs to be dialed back at some point, and Red Panda Koala seems to be putting the pedal to the floor on it, especially with those two. Where anyone with any decency would be like, dude, these guys are out of control. But no, Panda says more guys. My views and numbers have increased over on the archive.
Like if I saw Shane or Kimball or Logan or any of these people that participated in that, there was zero compassion, and it felt warranted to me. Other people might argue that you can't, you know, two wrongs don't make a right, but that's just how I felt about it.
Yeah, people like, LP that you all demonized were telling me, like, just let it go, just move on, try to be happy, you don't need it.
It showed me that there's no depths too low that these people will go. So after that was the UFO monologue scam. And what I was saying, this is an important point. The UFO Shane thing with Chris. Sorry, I should have put the name here again. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Nobody made a fuss about it. The Tupa crew, Panda, nobody held spaces saying, "Look at online harassment. We need to protect the girls." Nothing. They all just sit and gossiped and talked shit. But then if I call out somebody for something that's obvious extortion or an obvious extortion plot or Somber trying to convince me that he's about to unalive himself to manipulate me, giving me phony passwords to nothing. Like if I put the screenshots out for that, I'm harassing somebody. That's the common tactic they use is they can do anything they fucking want and then they just bury it and move on. But anything that we do that they can twist, dude, it is thrown in your face for the next 2 years. Like this shit that they just threw in my face in this space, dude. That was last year, man. Like, really, that's worth holding a grudge for over a year. But the Shane thing wasn't. Like, are you guys crazy? But then it went to the
Red Panda Koala never once spoke out against anything that happened to that girl that they catfished and made fun of and all that.
monologue scam. So what the UFO monologue scam was is, in my opinion, it's debatable, but I think if anyone looks into it, they'll find the same results. They created a guy named Stephen Austin, which is it's a character. It's a fucking character. Why shouldn't we know the real name of the person that's putting on this big competition?
Right from minute one. That was the detail when this thing was being planned, where I was like, wait, are you guys slow? The guy putting on is a LARP. The guy putting the competition on is a LARP. He's LARPing as the $1 Million Man, Stephen Austin, which is the boomer humor that you would get from Fred Rogers. It's right up his wheelhouse, his type of bullshit dummy boomer incel humor. Like, dude, that's old boomer humor. And nobody, young people know what the fuck Stephen Austin, the $1 Million Man, is. So this account that put on the monologue scam was this Stephen F. Austin. And people still today TC was trying to say to this day, no, he's a real guy. I've heard him in Spaces. It's just the same guy that plays the Fred Rogers character on a different account. Like, and they fall for it. It's whoever plays Fred Rogers. That's a character, understand? Stephen F. Austin is another character. It's the same person behind these characters. He was also what? Zatoshia or whatever. Like he has all these personas around UFO Twitter. That way he can slime into everybody's spaces and creep. Like wake the fuck up. If it was a real human where you could actually Google the guy and find out he existed, then maybe we'll talk about a monologue competition. But until we have a real human putting it on, like it's rigged. I'm gonna try to fast forward it past that.
Trolling, but distancing it from his real account because he doesn't want ufology to know that he's
Okay.
It's called the we're in there. And this guy actually tried to convince the community that it was a guy named Moran Lerner running his hate account. Basically, he created this archive. You can go look at it if you don't believe me. It's called the KMF Harassment Archive.
I'm gonna put up a image when I do my edit right now that is important because what I'm explaining here is Panda has doxed people with his crew and then made fun of them about it on this account. And he's trying to give the image that it's Moran Lerner doing this. The whole community knows who runs the KMF Harassment Archive. He slipped up and told it. His friends all know. Like it's a running gag. But he's still impersonating Moran Lerner.
What would your opinion be on the KMF Harassment Archive?
I don't invest a whole lot of stock in it, to be honest. It's not something that I look at on a regular basis. I think it's not a secret that Red operates that archive account. It's not a secret that Red operates that archive account. It's not a secret that Red operates that archive account.
Like, he still tells people it's Moran Lerner from time to time. So while his friends are doxing people and he's making fun of me because they doxed my juvenile record, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why'd you guys do this? And then he tries to frame Moran Lerner with this action. He's trying to distance himself from his trolling is what he's doing. And he did the same thing when they doxed me. He tried to send me at Disclosure Mike. And it was him. It was him and his buddies. Everyone knows.
But all it really is Panda making fun of people he doesn't like. Like it's his way of trolling, but distancing it from his real account. Because he doesn't want ufology to know that he's one of the most vile trolls that's ever come through here. So he has to separate it from it. So he made a sock account. It's called the KMF Harassment Archive, and it's not even about KMF. Like, there's nothing on it about KMF.
KMF hasn't been active on UFO Twitter in probably 2 to 3 years. I mean, 2 years at least. He's not in Spaces. So this account called the KMF Harassment Archive, it basically just like bothers me and my buddies. Just posts dumb shit about us, tries to drive wedges. There's no evidence of anything. It's just them like trolling. Like, and it's supposed to be like some kind of archive. Archiving what? That you guys are a bunch of childish dumb fucks? Like, what is it archiving? Because it's them like clowning outward. There's not displaying any proof of anything. There is actually a Tupa Crew archive, and that one does show a little bit of evidence. If you want to check that one out, it's called at Tupa Crew for you. I don't know who run that one, but they're really smart.
KMF. It's talking about me, and it's gay shaming Gabe, and that's about it. Like, and oh, gay shaming Darren, like a lot of homophobia shaming Darren. Hey, what's up, Coley?
A lot of homophobic attacks from the guy that tried to have Kimball teach him how to be gay at Contact last year. This is when Coley jumps in, which is, dude, I was so happy that she jumped in.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're having tech difficulties. It might.
I was. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just getting stuff straightened up on my end, but I do have it connected and I do have sound now.
Yeah, you're good. My spaces whenever I do them, I've been having problems. I think it's the Android link. There's something with running spaces on Android. I thought about doing it on my PC, but yeah.
So this is my friend Coley UFO. She has a YouTube channel. She does interviews with ufology whistleblowers, Bigfoot hunters, all kinds of cool shit. So go check it out. I'll put the graphic up so people can find it. And basically, she's part of the group with Corey Good that is kind of trying to shine a light on the online harassment that David Wilcock faced in his last days. And that's how we met. Is I was looking into it, and they were launching uh they were saying things about the Truth Seekers Cambion channel, and so I wanted to go over and check out her channel and see what they were saying about Cambion and these guys being, partly responsible for what happened to Wilcock. And they were super cool with me. They knew I was part of the Truth Seeker kind of community. I told them, like, I know Cambion. A lot of this shit doesn't sound like him. And yeah, they were cool as fuck. They gave me access so I could ask questions during the shows they were doing. Even when we didn't agree, they were always tolerant. They didn't call me gay slurs. They were just chill about it because we don't really agree on a lot. But we just agree that everyone should try to be cool with each other if possible. That's about it. And where I landed was that these channels knew, they clearly demonstrated that they were aware that David Wilcock was starting to spiral and lose control, and they kept pushing, and that's just kind of where I'm gonna for now, but I might have a project coming out later on that.
No, it's a totally fine. I'm using my phone. I had to resort to my phone, so I had a power cable with my computer, and I was like, I'm just getting in on my phone. It'll be good. So I'm sure it's all on my end. I didn't see anything else that looked like it was coming from you or.
No, it was probably the Android. I was sending the invite and it wasn't going out. I could tell by how it was reacting.
The Rogers coin, they did a crypto rug pull on the community. They called it Rogers coin. They created a crypto coin that Fred Rogers was involved again, the guy that nobody even knows who he is. And they they convinced the community that it was like a crowdfunding, like we were going to use it to fund UFO projects for the community, and then
They also basically convinced all these 40 to 50, 60-year-old people that if you want to be in with the cool kids at UFO Twitter, then you buy Rogers coin. And I'll put some of them up, some of the dumbass graphics, and that was basically the marketing for it. Only the cool kids are into Rogers coin. They all lost their asses, besides the little inner core, the Tupa crew, but it was quickly buried and they were on to the next scam.
they just rug pulled in. They all made thousands of dollars, and everyone else lost their ass.
Wow. It really is. I don't think people realize, and everybody can say all day long, "Oh, David, I heard you before about like taking a bath in urine." That was when I about dropped off. But honestly, if somebody is doing something holistic in their lives, and I mean, does that? No.
Holistic. So if you're unfamiliar, watch it back later. David Wilcock claimed that he was getting messages from the Archangel Michael, and one of them was to help enhance his abilities, that he needed to have DNA in the bath with him, and that he should only take baths, and it involved peeing in the tub a little bit. And they used this. Like, this is one of the details that it's like, whenever they couldn't find anything to make a video on, well, we'll just make fun of David Wilcock because he talked about bathing in pee. Well, the thing is ufology is a strange fucking environment. These spaces on UFO Twitter, you will hear some of the wildest shit, and people believe it. These people believe in things like the Galactic Federation, 20 and back programs, time traveling, reptilians. So to cancel a guy over this one little, like, outlandish, goofy claim, it just it doesn't make any sense to me. And that it's also an example of beating a dead horse, which I mentioned. Like, let it go. And they did the exact same thing to the Sarah Adams girl. She had the bad trip and it was recorded, and they just kept coming back to it. Every couple months she would think, they've moved on, they're on the new shit, and then they would do another episode on it. That's where it crossed over.
I mean, would I go do that? Absolutely not. It's just not my thing.
It is nothing
but
compared to what I hear in these spaces. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm just so blown away that would warrant, and hearing it and I've been on the tail end of it myself many of times, and I'm currently.
It doesn't warrant 2-3 years of Wilcock losing his fucking mind videos. Like do one, cover it, and then
Running right now. These people do not care about the truth. Most of them probably know the whole story way better than anybody else. That's how crazy this is. It's not about giving them the truth. It's not about any of this. No, they found a.
It's not. She's absolutely correct. With guys like Cambion, truth seekers, what truth are they searching for with that? They're just running a guy into the ground to make some money at that point. There's no truth to be found. Everyone knows that what he said about it. Like, so what truth is there in it when you're still talking about it a year later?
Way to torment people, and they get gratification out of it.
Yeah, and there's something about UFO Twitter specifically where I think ufology started to recognize this platform as kind of like the I don't know, the guide stone, and there's entities that want to control the narrative on UFO Twitter, and dude, they are putting plans into motion. Dude, some of these spaces this specific group ran on Lou Elizondo should have been called out by all of ufology. We have a guy in our friend group that they think is gay, and they started holding entire spaces claiming and Lou Elizondo followed him. He was kind of new to our friend group.
That was the kicker. They were mad that Lou Elizondo followed him. It was Gabe. So they started all of a sudden holding all day spaces saying that Lou Elizondo was like trying to honeypot the gay men of UFO Twitter. And these are the people that like they think they're researchers. It, that's the type of shit that seems almost too random for them to be making it
specific
up.
group ran on Lou Elizondo should have been called out by all of ufology. We have a guy in our friend group that they think is gay.
I'll put
and
up
they
the
started
screens.
holding entire spaces claiming and Lou Elizondo followed him. He was kind of new to our friend group. Lou Elizondo followed him. They all got mad about it and were holding spaces saying that Lou Elizondo is trying to like recruit gay men from the community for orgies. They did this for days, pushing this narrative. Those types of narratives are coming from somewhere else. I don't think Tupa made that up. I think someone passed it down, like pushed this.
And also, Red Panda Koala spent like a couple years trying to get Elizondo's attention with his documentaries. And then, you know, I honestly believe it bothers him when he sees Lou Elizondo give anyone attention from the community because it's the attention he never got. He was making these documentaries and trying to get his attention, and he never got it. So he had to start trying to slander him and get his attention that way. And I do think it bothers him when people get followed or whatever.
The weird thing is I'm going to say
By
this and say
Lou.
this once, is that when you go to there's a reason I don't go to conferences. There's a reason that I do not go to places, because this is widespread. This isn't something, and them to joke about that, I would say they got their own issues, obviously, but that's not even normal. Like, if we're going to scale, and I'm not saying anybody in here wants to be in the normie category, but this is like gone from that spectrum.
This was in my post earlier today on my good morning friends post on Twitter. What I'm getting from a lot of these new people, like podcasters, content creators that are bigger names, are starting to look into what's going on here. People are seeing my videos, believe it or not. And that's one thing they're all saying is this is not normal. Like, they're looking at it, and it's right in plain sight, but it's really not. Like, you kind of have to be part under the, UFO Twitter banner to see it. But yeah, that's a common quote. This is not normal. And you show them the screenshots and the clips of what these guys do all day and night, and they're like, dude, this is not normal. That's really interesting that
All
she
the
said
way
that there.
to abnormal behavior. Like, there is nothing, absolutely nothing okay about that and doing that to people.
And okay, so they spent the last 3 years, and what they did is they created this imaginary group they called the Lou.
What's up, Rotary?
Crew. And dude, you know me,
there's nothing, absolutely nothing okay about that and doing that to people.
And okay, so they spent the last 3 years, and what they did is they created this imaginary group they called the Lou Crew.
What are you up to, bro?
And dude, you know me, I'm a skeptic. I don't even really believe a lot of the Lou stuff. But
Right.
they created a whole like imaginary entity, and anything bad in the community that would happen, they would say it's the Lou Crew doing it. And so when you hear Lou Crew or from any of these guys, I haven't seen any evidence of it. I'm friends with all of the Lou Elizondo supporters, and they're not running around on socks. They're not ratioing. They're not harassing anyone. They might give their opinion.
Well, I'm just doing this to get a recording, and it's gonna vanish once I end it, and then I'm gonna do a full edit. I'm gonna do a full edit and put videos and stuff in, bro. And it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be my masterpiece.
They might stick up for Lou, but they're not using any of these tactics that I'm seeing out here.
No, these are this isn't a debate. You can't even debate with some of these people. Like, the hidden in plain sight, they are the biggest degenerates that I've come across ever.
Yeah, the hidden in plain sight guys are bad. How do you debate someone who just calls you the F slur every time you disagree with them? Or, these guys holding these spaces about gay orgies. Like, how do you even go in there and start to debate that bullshit? It's just so stupid. You think Lou Elizondo really? Really? You really believe that? Because if you don't, aren't you guys making things up about people? Oh, that's a no-no.
Like I said, these people do not care whether or not they're not out there to
Lou
debate your information.
Elizondo, of
I don't
all
even think they
people.
care about the topic, to be quite honest.
They can't care about the topic. If they're willing to just throw that out in the ether about a well-known figure in ufology like Lou Elizondo just to see what happens, no, they cannot care about the topic. They definitely are just trying to cause chaos. The Keemstar method.
I think they know enough to terrorize. For the most of them, you can tell that it's given orders. I remember
I want
Corey
to
when they
rewind
first
it.
people do not care whether or not they're not out there to debate your information. I don't even think they care about the topic, to be quite honest. I think they know enough to terrorize. For the most of them, you can tell that it's given orders. I remember Corey.
They know enough to terrorize. That's a really good quote there.
When they first came out with all that stuff, they started calling him Corey No Good. No, that's like they get their little slogans in there, so it sticks. And then it's like Pete, repeat, whoever is just regurgitating them.
That one's corny as fuck. Corey No Good. What a corny. A lot of their shit's corny. What? Oh, they called me what what was it? T they did a variation. Oh, TeeJay Felony.
Information. They have no clue.
Yeah, it's just rinse and repeat. It seemed like the from what I learned from with going over Cambion's channel and the Hidden in Plain Sight guys is they would beat the dead horse. If they didn't have anything to make an episode about, they would come back to
Oh
it.
my god.
And that's what
It's the same thing
right.
over and over and over again. They keep taking it. I've heard a few variations of my story now, but they keep taking it, and it's like beating over and over. I'm like, you can't. There's nothing that I'm going to tell you that I even like, and I've explained it so many times, but they don't. They have no content. And that's exactly what I said. I'm like, unless they made 100 David videos and said it, the same thing a bazillion different ways. That would be 100 videos they would not have out. They have nothing original. They add nothing original. And it's like when they're talking about people, it's not like, this individual, it's like this ugly da 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 da, and like they're making.
They've been really bad to Coley. Yeah, they'll put up a screen like a still from her YouTube channel, and she's exactly right. That channel over there, Hidden in Plain Sight, they never play her views or her what she actually believes, her opinions, her thoughts. It's just physical appearance. Let's make fun of her for this. And that's kind of what you're seeing over here too. There's no content to it. And when they cover Wilcock, it was the same thing. They just played his entire podcast and they just talked shit in the background, throwing gay slurs at him. There's no creativity or comedic value or anything to that bullshit. There's just not. You can go watch and find out. Anyone I've talked to that said they went over there and checked it out thought it was garbage, but Cambion shows a little better.
Fun out. There's nothing they're saying about the information you're providing necessarily. I mean, they're literally just calling.
Like she just said, they never even attack the actual topic. That's the worst I've seen that those groups do that with, because Cambion's channel and the Hidden in Plain Sight channel seem to target the same people, which because they're connected, a lot of them are the same audience. The Sarah Adams girl, they just beat that dead horse to death.
you whatever
If
names they're
you're
spewing out of
a,
their
if
mouth
you're a
at that
guy,
point.
it's a lot of homophobic slurs. That's what comes from the hidden in plain sight guys. They use the F-bomb a lot, and it's just like normal over there. There's a bit of a culture
Yeah.
divide. I know that, but it's these internet kids. I mean, that they're internet kids.
So I believe I get a little worked up, and while I'm saying something, they say I throw the FAG bomb here. So I'm gonna try to fast forward it through it.
They're connected, and I'm going to find. I know who has the information, and I'm going to find it because he
They're definitely connected. Those two channels.
explained it to me
Yeah.
one other time when the trolls had really come out in full force, and he's like, "No, you're dealing with, and they're well connected."
Oh, wow.
Exactly how we haven't, yeah, but they I know for a fact, and Midnight Mark is the one that knows. So if anybody here has seen Midnight Mark set out, because that's who I'm looking for, because he explained it to me, and they even come after him, but I think he is kind of more amicable, maybe.
Oh, I have seen that guy. I have seen him around since I've been getting bothered.
On their end, but he'll still he maybe was once a part of their group and left because he's like not like them at all. I think
They've been amicable with me a couple times too. That was when they tried to tell me that they were trying to help him. But once they realize they're not gonna flip me, they get mad.
some people it goes too far, and then they see, they might get caught up in the moment, but once they see it cross that fine line, I mean, it's gone too far. And some people that really do have hearts and souls it will, contact. I've even been doxxed so badly before. One of their guys felt bad and he contacted me. I was like, I'm just letting you know. I know I read you had a child.
Dude, we have so many things in common about the way these troll networks have worked. I explain here. I get the exact same thing from the Tupa crew. There's people that feel bad about the things they're doing and saying about me in these group chats and in these spaces, and are either worried, and they'll jump in my DMs and warn me about certain things, or say they've got this, or they've got this information on you.
But and I'm like, gosh, I mean,
That happens with me too.
how unbelievable.
The
Yeah.
Tupa crew guys, some of them will come over, and like one of them recently said they were passing around court papers that were saying that like I almost got evicted a few months back. And dude, I did a video about it on my YouTube, so it wasn't a secret.
Yeah,
If you want to go watch the video I did about when I was about to get evicted, I'm gonna put it up right here so you can go check it out.
why if that okay, like let's just say this, like what if that was a personal life story? Like I had something really bad one time happen with somebody that I was renting from, and it turned out to be a nightmare. But so you're gonna go and pull that document, and what does that have to do with your credibility, and what does that have to do with your knowledge?
What happened is they say that because I show the mugshot of Logan, full stack Logan, that got convicted of the woman beating charge on while he was
So
on
they
his
think
stage.
that's the same. They think that's the same.
Yeah, and what they did is they were determined that I had like a criminal record.
It's kind of crazy because when you bring in someone outside of UFO Twitter, suddenly they have common sense.
I guess because my name's TeeJay Felony, and so they looked everywhere trying to find criminal record, but they couldn't find anything. So somehow, Coley, they breached my juvenile court records, and they posted something from when I was 12 years old. I got caught with like a weed pipe or something when I was 12, and they had access to that. So they have someone in their crew that can breach juvenile records.
They sure do. They have stuff. I'm telling you, they sure do. And it's not above them not to call your local police department and all of the above. I told you this, they had MRIs that they were from 95. They're not on record. I have the hard copies of them. It was before digital even took over. And somebody got a picture, and they're in my son's closet. And
Dude, that is wild. And I totally believe her because I've seen it. They've bombed my phone number several times now. I've had to change my number. These fuckers can reach out and touch you.
He wouldn't even know that they're in there. I mean, they are in a secure place down there, but you'd have to, I don't even know how in the world they would have gotten them, to be honest. It's creepy. It really is. It is.
I don't know how anyone could have gotten access to juvenile court records. That would be pretty tough too.
It's very creepy.
I've had people tell me that a lot of the personal information it comes from one person, and it's an alias. Like none of us are allowed to know who this guy is, but they probably all know who he is. And people warn me. You were talking about someone warning you. People warn me like, hey, this Fred Rogers guy, watch out for him. He's really dangerous. People warn me when Chase is talking about killing people. Like these guys are really talking about hurting you. You need to be careful. Yeah, it's a regular thing these days.
That's so wrong. Gabe Hoffman just sent me a cease and desist letter, and I was like, "Are you for real? Is he for real? Like, honestly, Gabe, go fuck yourself."
So they appear to also do the same thing where one way when you're starting to expose them and call them out for what they're doing, they suddenly try to position themselves as the victim, which is that's same with my hate group.
Have you ever been to Contact in the Desert, Coley?
I won't go.
Good. Yeah, I have a thing in
Dude, she's so awesome.
my notes about that. So when I
I would not go to that bullshit. That is my exact answer too. People always ask. I had someone be like, "Well, what if I paid for you to go? Would you go?" And I'm like, "Probably not."
first joined UFO Twitter, the first Contact in the Desert, I've been here for about 3 of them, I think. The very first one when they came back,
I didn't go to them. I've been on UFO Twitter while they're going on, and it's always fucking stupid. Everyone that goes acts like they're the cool kids, and it's like, dude, you're wasting a bunch of money to go meet Science Bob.
they were saying UFO Kimball assaulted Paul, a guy named Paul. So first it was Kimball assaulted Paul, and then they came back the second time and it was Panda assaulted Kimball. So every year these crazies go to Contact in the Desert. When they come back and get on UFO Twitter, they're all making allegations of each other sexually assaulting each other. And
it's like inner group too. Like the last one, it was Kimball accusing Red Panda Koala. And then the year before that, it was a guy named Paul accusing Kimball. So it's like they're all playing grab ass with each other and then pointing the finger when they sober up and get back home. And it's just an embarrassing mess every year.
Then they
Not for us. We just laugh, but these guys prance around like they're the chosen of UFO Twitter. And dude, if I had money to go to something like that, I would go to a wrestling event.
act like we're the problem. Like none of us went to Contact in the Desert. Like none of us have anything to do with any of you rug polls or anything. It's just always like this crew on UFO Twitter it's just some of the craziest shit, and it's every
You know why? They're doing it. They're doing it. This stuff is happening. This is why I call them UFO orgies, because this stuff everybody knows. Any decent person knows. I've talked to James Gillian about it.
See? Dude, everything I've been saying. Like, I've been saying that's why they have these conventions. So these goofies can go there and do goofy shit. Everyone acts like I'm crazy.
1,000 times. Nobody wants to go because this stuff actually goes on. Not even that. People have been drugged. People have been, I mean, there has been all sorts of crazy, but this definitely goes on. When they're coming back and they're probably pointing the finger at themselves. That's usually how it works. If I were them, I wouldn't go either. I would not go and drink the alcohol on top of it.
They come back and they like all point the finger at each other. That's the thing.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they do. They probably don't want that out if somebody's going to slip, but I know very well that this goes on, like 1,000% out of shadow of a doubt that this goes on.
So some of the things that they did, Panda and Logan hosted a space one time with the title was TeeJay has a kid with a 15-year-old.
That one was completely made up again out of nowhere. There's no story or anything to base it on. It was when I was asking questions about, I forget. I think it might have been the Rogers coin thing. They seem to really ramp up when during the Rogers coin thing because anytime you affect money, it gets real. But somebody sent me a DM and was like, "Dude, look what they're doing." And it was Logan hosting, and it was Red Panda Koala co-hosting, and the name of the space was TJ has a kid with a 15-year-old girl. What WTF? And that was the first time they had used a tactic like that. And it was before I made videos or anything. I didn't even know how to screen grab then. So I was just like, what the fuck, dude? And that was the first time, but it wasn't the last. Yeah, I'll show other examples, but and I believe it was when I was calling out Rogers Coin, telling people this is a crypto rug bowl, just like Haktua. Don't put your money in this thing.
That
Wow.
they just made that up out of nowhere. Psych Ward Mike down there, you see him, UFO comeback kid. He just popped in. He hosts space that say TJ watches CP, no lie, and that's just pulled out of nowhere. Like there's no story to even base these on. They're just grabbing them to try to destroy my credibility. Like
I'll put that one up over here. There has been dozens of these spaces.
it's not like they have any reason to think this stuff. They've done it to my friends. All this is documented, and it's just keeps going. Like no matter what you do to these guys, like what you say to them, like can we just fucking break apart and stay away from each other?
Yeah,
Here they
yeah,
are.
right.
Here
No,
they are.
but that doesn't matter. It's not about that for them. I actually don't know, but I definitely would love to hear their end of it and tell me exactly why it's okay. And I don't care. You don't see me.
I don't think they want it to stop because they enjoy it. And, they're also getting paid and encouraged by other people to do these things, and they seem to really enjoy all the fighting and drama and that's where at that point it's like, well, this ain't for me. I need to get the fuck out of here. Or, you try to change it.
Resorting to the same tactics as Steve Cambion or the Hidden in Plain Sight or anybody. So if they are doing that, I'm guaranteeing you, like real people in this that are leading the way in UFO, we don't even call it that anymore. Leading the way in some of this, that is not, and I'm telling you, that is not who people want in there. Nobody wants somebody that's going to continue this. If you're getting funding or you're funded by these people, go. Honestly, the community needs to separate themselves from the people then, because there's no possible way. If you continue like to feed these people, they'll continue the whatever it is that they're after, but it's not normal. It's not like a normal argument I've ever had before with anyone. This is like taking somebody who is like a level above a serial killer and giving them a target and telling them.
And that's exactly why I get frustrated with people in the community like Ursula and Anjali and these love and light auntie types that they either have zero backbone to stand up and say anything, or they enjoy all this drama because these are the people that kind of linger around all this ugly, vile bullshit. And it's like, dude, that you're getting all that hate on you, all of you love and light, aunties. Like, why are you hanging out with these guys? At some point, you just start to realize that it's because they're part of it. They enjoy it. They like watching people get run into the ground, as long as it's not them. Don't put the spotlight on them, then it's not fun anymore. But they totally love watching their little internet buddies destroy other people, and that's why I might call out people like that from time to time.
Them to have fun while doing it, because that's exactly what they're getting off on is
Well,
your misery.
it's wild, man, because
Like she just said. So, there's been one specifically, Ursula, that's been trying to like back channel and be like, why did TJ call me out? Like she just said, because I think you get off on my misery. That's why. And I have good reason to.
This guy that Panda uses lately, he's went to checked himself into the mental hospital for online harassment. So they have a history of this type of stuff. And Panda, these
I'm
are the ones
sure.
that Panda kind of like gasses up. He tries to put them in positions to fight his enemies. And he just jumped up in a space earlier tonight, a couple hours ago. My buddy Interstellar was hosting it, and everyone was having a really good conversation. And he started calling me a crackhead and throwing allegations. And that's the Keemstar method. I'll send you a clip. Panda was recorded talking about how he's creating this thing called the Keemstar method, where you basically just spin drama and keep people fighting, and that's what they want. All their spaces are titled like "Bring Your Beef," "Let's Fight." Like it's all about like drama, and it's.
I'll put the Keemstar method clip up right here. You can see for yourself. Panda describing his vision for UFO Twitter and turning it into the Keemstar lolcow universe with alien.
You'll get all proper credit.
Thing I'm telling you, bro. Let me put you on the Keemstar fucking thing, bro. Get your account making some money, dude.
The what?
And it feeds into each other. What's how to grift off fucking X, basically.
The lolcow universe is what they're trying to create here. Keemstar came through UFO Twitter. You might not know about that saga, but and he like weaponized and set these guys up with a channel, and then they ran it into the ground. It was called.
I'm pretty confident Coley didn't know who Keemstar is, which is awesome because Keemstar is nobody should really know who that fucking guy is, and young people don't really know who he is either. He's irrelevant today. So it's cool that she probably didn't even like Keemstar. What the fuck is a Keemstar? Goofy internet celebrity is what he was. You might be familiar back a few months. It was when Grush came out. There was kind of a flood of these influencers and celebrities that were getting involved in ufology. Logan Paul had the video and stuff. Well, Keemstar was one of them. He came and did UFO Twitter and wanted to get in on it.
Skyfire News, but he taught them the drama sells, and things kind of took a shift then, where let's all just threaten to kill each other, and like I don't know, man, let's all say that guy has cancer, so I want his surgery to go bad, so he ends up a vegetable. Like these things just started to become normal from these guys.
If he ends up a vegetable, that's okay with me. Am I right? But if it does happen, oh, what am I kidding? I'm putting it out into the universe. It's wrong. It sounded like surgery was a long shot. I don't know. Suffering. That's what I wish. Suffering. That's what I wish. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Suffering. That's what I wish.
And it ran the level of the conversation down into the mud, and that's where we are today. One thing I noticed about that was really sad about David Wilcock was that his recent videos on his channel, dude, they were so peaceful. Like he was a pacifist. Like that guy was trying so hard to turn.
He wouldn't hurt anybody. He would not hurt anybody. Like Mike Barra will say, he's like picking on David. It would be, I mean, is just absolutely insane. He doesn't. He's not a fighter. He's not. He's very much a peacekeeper. I don't.
These people, these people that I'm not sure about the hidden in plain sight guys, but I know Cambion has talked about being a Christian, and it appeared that David Wilcock was almost trying to like pray the negativity away. Like in his last episodes, there was a lot of peaceful meditation, he would call it, where he would be trying to like manifest and like transfer the negativity into positivity and project it outward. Like you could tell he was trying anything possible other than going down into the mud with the trolls. And yeah, it just didn't work, which I think is a tragedy.
I think he has honestly an ill will bone inside of him. I
You
really don't.
you could kind of tell by his episodes because
I never saw him lash out. I never once. And there's videos where it's like Wilcock threatening Cambion. He was making dude. He was backed into a corner. So if he made some vague threats about legal procedures and shit, who the fuck wouldn't at that point? Like the dude was out of options. You guys had backed him into a corner. Financially, you had made it impossible for him to earn a living online. He was in financial debt. Like,
putting him to date with like what was going on those other channels, and he was like including Bible verses to
it's
try to
all good,
like
bro.
almost like appease him. Like, can't we just turn the other cheek? Like everyone makes mistakes. Like it's so sad to go back and look at.
It is because ultimately he and his family just wanted it to stop. They weren't going to prosecute.
That's another thing is to think about his family that is still, that has to get on the internet and on YouTube and see these channels where there's people claiming to be channeling him. And then you go to the channels that ran him into the ground and they're still covering him. Like they're still cashing in on it. Dude, I would be fucking furious. If this was my brother or dad or even cousin, friend, I would be furious. You guys run him into the ground, and then after he's passed on, you're continuing to cash in on his life. It's crazy.
They weren't going to do any of that. They just wanted it to stop.
Yeah, it's really sad. It woke me up. And I haven't always been the nicest person online. Like, I'm willing to admit that, but I'm willing to like forget about it, move on.
Right. You know what you do like up until that moment in time, but once you have that realization, that's when you have the choice. You can either continue or you can, you know what I mean? Like I've been there too. I have been there too. I bought in, got played up into some stuff that happened online. But once I did become aware, then I was like, man, wait a minute here. I did all I could, to right my wrong. I definitely did not continue the behavior.
I've apologized to people. I've tagged people and been like, look, if you just want to keep my name out of your mouth, I'll never mention yours. I've invited people to come talk and so we can bury the hatchet and leave each other alone. They won't meet you halfway. I mean, even right now is an opportunity for people to bury the hatchet and move on. There's couple of them probably sitting in my live chat right now, and they won't. They either don't want that because they enjoy spinning all the drama because it keeps them relevant, or it's their job, or they're just assholes. I guess that's another
It's
possible
just,
narcissist.
at every point somebody has that, fork in the road. You're going to have to make that decision, but you can't, TJ, can't like, beat yourself up over it. Like I said, I've fallen for this stuff too, time and time again. It's a part of life. It's a part of learning, but this right here is not okay. And it's not okay to sit there and destroy other people. And I don't understand at the end of the day what they want from the UFO community. If this is what they're going to do is just destroy everybody, do they not want there to be a UFO community?
That's a good point. Like you don't get to make any more videos about the guy if you destroy him. Like what? I've talked about this about Darkside Phil a couple times. He has he's a law cow game streamer, but the people seem to love making fun of him. And it's like, dude, you push him too far, he's gonna leave, and then you ain't gonna have nothing to watch or make fun of him. So
do they not want it to have any sort or hold any sort of that's what I feel like. I feel like they're legitimately destroying any community that has been built, and anybody that's been on there, if credibility wise, nobody is going to listen to this. Everybody has had enough. The more that this gets out, X won't be a place to go and talk about UFOs. I'll guarantee you that if this continues.
what if that is the motive to destroy UFO Twitter? Because they've done it. I mean, look what the spaces are. They've done it, right? Like it has zero credibility. It's a slump hit. What if that was the goal the whole time? It's a thought.
It's like way out of hand, and now it's like back and forth, push, pull, this, that. It's something's got to change. Something has got to change. It's out of hand.
Did you see how the Hidden in Plain Sight guys and even Cambion did one where they like were kind of somber talking right after David passed away? Do you think they have any like regrets or compassion or?
The Hidden in Plain Sight guys, no, I don't. I absolutely do not. And that's the confusing part. And when I say that they're like a level just right above serial killers, that's what I mean. There's no
I feel like if they would have felt bad about it, they probably would have stopped making videos clowning him, but they didn't. And yeah, but they have one of them did send me a message talking about how they felt awful too and stuff.
normal recourse of or empathy. They have no empathy for anybody.
Yeah.
Not for what they've done, not for what they said. So I don't know who hurt them so badly that they now do not.
I think Cambion feels bad. I do. I think he feels horrible. I think he is trying to preserve his own image on it though, so he's thinking about himself a little bit too much, but I think he feels bad.
Have this ability to do so, but it definitely is not okay on any. If you can't go and live in society, the world is not your mental hospital. You belong in a better place, like a padded, secured location.
It's narcissism is what I found. Is there's a lot of narcissists, and when you're saying things like you want a guy's surgery to go bad so he ends up a vegetable and stuff, you're showing that you don't have the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And a lot of it is like being able to put yourself in like people that you're not getting along with shoes and trying to see it from their point of view. And I don't think a lot of these people have the ability to do that, because I'm like, a lot of them I've just tried to explain to them that like, you guys did see that this man was at the edge and you pushed him over, and they attack me for it, like it's my fault or something.
Oh, they've got to blame everybody, because that would be a part of accepting accountability that they cannot do. This is a personality disorder you're dealing with. This is nothing that you can cure. This is nothing that you can. This is a.
Coley said it's nothing that you can cure. So basically right there, like, we're never going to be able to coexist with some of these people. That's kind of a sad thought.
I mean, antisocial personality disorder.
But
however
she's
you want to word
right.
it, but
It's narcissism, chemical imbalances, like she said, anti-social personality disorder.
narcissism just falls into that cluster. This is definitely a pathology, and somehow they all found one another.
Right. Well, it's the funnel. I mean, on UFO Twitter, the Tupa crew funnels them all into one group. They seem to have a type, and I mean, I'm not judging, but they all have most of them have criminal records. A lot of them, have like drug charges.
MAGA incels. Most of them are MAGA incels.
They have shady history, and they recognize people that are kind of out there and being mouthy and willing to talk shit to people. They also recognize these girls that are desperate to belong to something. And one of the things that account down there, what is it, Somber? He got drunk in a space one night. There's a channel on YouTube called ufology_SWAT. And everyone that participates on UFO Twitter needs to go check out this YouTube channel. And it's hundreds of recordings from these Twitter spaces. And when this crew, this hate group, gets mad at each other and gets drunk, they start telling on each other. And what Somber said is the Red Panda Koala uses these girls. He called them his quote, murder she wrote bitches. And they run around and gather secret intel and dirt, what he calls dirt on people. And Panda has created a massive server on Discord. We've seen screenshots of it, I could show you, but it's got personal details going back 3-4 years, and it's everything. They've been documenting and recording everything, and it's anything they can use against anybody so they can go grab and manipulate. And it's extortion, it's intimidation. It's anything, any personal info. And dude, the server is massive. They keep info on everyone. It's not even people they have issues with. It's anybody. And
That's why I mentioned Cartot earlier. She's in the screenshot. I have a couple screenshots. I'll put them up when I do the edit of inside Panda's secret server. And the files, or a few of them are people. It's like, why would you be gathering dirt on that person? Like, they don't bother anybody, but they gather it on everybody. That way, if they need it, because you never know the future, you might have a beef with that person, that person might decide to challenge you in a space and make you mad. So then you can go to your server and grab, your file and see if they ever said anything racist or anything you can twist or manipulate, or ever gave out any personal info that you can intimidate them with. Like, that's how it works. It's what they use this thing for. Like, I have a file in there, probably massive, full of probably my financial records, probably my entire juvenile arrest record is probably in there, like, because they only posted one of my many arrests from when I was a juvenile. Um, they are building a massive server of dirt on everyone from UFO Twitter, and everyone knows this isn't a secret, but people seem to be okay with it.
it's full
How
of it.
are they able to fund that? Unless that's being funded by somebody with some secure.
I think this is just a theory, but I think Greer is funding this shit.
Like pretty solid money here.
Dude,
There's
I
no
don't
way.
know. I mean, and like I don't know how they've been able to do this in plain sight, and the whole community knows about it. Like everyone on UFO Twitter knows that the KMF archive is run by Red Panda Koala, but they still say it's Moran Lerner, who's an actual person. That's impersonation. The crypto rug pull, that was obvious. Everyone knows who did that, but these guys just keep pushing through these incidences. And dude, there's lots of them. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Isn't it just a little convenient? We've talked about it before, like behind the scenes, but like, I mean, like other people, like, even James has talked about it because it seems to be the targeting and the like wherever it comes from, it's the same type of, and it involves the same people and at the core. But how is it, like, realistically, unless and they have to do it quite, I mean, it has to be done pretty brilliantly for the numbers and everything for the pull that they have.
Yeah, Panda's he's pretty clever.
I don't know. I
Panda's
really hope.
intelligent. Red Panda Koala is a very intelligent guy. He's learned how to manipulate online trends and stuff, especially on UFO Twitter. He's kind of created this false image of like, I'm just this little researcher trying to break the truth. That guy is a terror. I'm telling you, like he's
Does he have a show?
he's
Does he
committed
ever show his
crime.
face? Oh, I believe that. Does he ever show his face?
Yeah, he has before. He has a YouTube channel where he goes on and pushes like the Loot Crew stuff. The Loot Crew stuff is completely made up. Like that stuff it's so fabricated. What's funny is I mentioned a little bit about this. Panda used this guy down here. UFO Comeback Kid is what he goes by now. He used to be UFO Mike. We call him Psych Ward Mike. He used this guy as his quote whistleblower. And what happened was Mike flipped on all of his quote unquote buddies that Panda paints as the Loot Crew, and he shares all their DMs and stuff. But it was Mike that was doing all the damage. So now Mike went all the dirt, like all the hate that they blame on the imaginary Loot Crew was Mike down there doing it. But then Mike jumped to the other team, and now he does dirt for them, and he's a whistleblower. That's the story that.
Oh my god!
And
See,
like
you don't just do that.
Right, all this hate.
See, what Coley is having a hard time understanding is like, how did they pull this off, and how did people buy it? And it's how culty and simple people have become on UFO Twitter, where they don't really buy it. They see it. I think most people know what's going on. They're not stupid, but they don't want to challenge these guys. so they can just kind of make them believe it. It's almost like MAGA and Trump, where like the whole world knows he's lying and full of shit, but they pretend like they believe him. That seems to kind of be what UFO Twitter does with some of this stuff. They don't want to know, and she's wondering like how Panda was able to flip Mike, and all of a sudden now he's a good guy, even though he's just the same asshole. He's just attacking different people now, and it's like, well, I don't know. Go ask UFO Twitter. Go ask these people that hang out with him how they were able to pull it off. Because we don't. That's why we're frustrated.
This imaginary loot crew, probably 95% of it was Mike down there. But now he's on their team, so it's our problem that because he was loot crew when he did all that dirt. Like that's the story they tried to paint.
Oh my god. That yeah. I guess what we need is somebody who has left who's willing to blow the whistle on who's funding it. That's really what we need.
Well, there was a guy. He did blow the whistle. I posted a bunch of videos and screenshots in the comments on the. I thought they would show up down in the purple pill, but it was on my other like space link. You know, on my account. If you go over on my account,
I still think the guy that's gonna blow the whistle on all this shit and become the hero of UFO Twitter is UFO Shane. He knows all the dirt. Like he knows it because he seemed to be right involved in all of it, every single grimy fucking detail. And I think he would he I think it bothers him sometimes that
there's a
yeah, I could be totally wrong.
bunch of videos and like screens and stuff in there. But yeah, they've done that. I mean,
Wow. I like there's certain parts I'm like I don't even know what to say for these people. Like that
Little Pop Tart also was trying to blow the whistle on what they were doing, but unfortunately he was going so wacky that you couldn't really count him as credible.
obviously there's
lot
no Lou crew, there's no like I mean this against
it's
them.
so
Are we not
stupid.
trying to find the truth? Like
It's so
I don't think
stupid.
that's in there.
Well, and I got
Wow.
labeled Loot Crew, and I never found Lou Elizondo really credible. Like I was always side-eyeing every one of his claims. So somehow and what you end up as Loot Crew is by challenging the Tupa crew. Like if you're buddies with me, you end up as Loot Crew. If you're buddies with King Milk Bar, you end up as Loot Crew. And you mentioned like getting people that they've run off. Most people are just done. Like they don't want to come back. They don't want to wait because they escaped it. It's like
That's a big aspect of it. When she said we need to get people and that'll come and talk, they don't want to come back. Like they're a lot of them are disappointed, and they are. There's a thing when you leave UFO Twitter, it's a cyber cult. It functions as a cyber cult and it wears you down mentally. And when you leave, you kind of like wake back up and you feel better. And the last thing you want to do is get back involved in the dumb shit, meaningless drama. And so it's hard to even ask people that even like my friends like LP or Ray and Klaus or anyone to get involved again because it's like, dude, go enjoy your life. Stay away.
escaping a cult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like escaping a cult. So it's hard to. I feel bad even asking them to come back and try to. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, but even if they do it anonymously, we're putting an anonymous tip line out there for. I have to get the exact yet, but it's gonna.
So Coley's saying they're setting up an anonymous tip line, which, dude, well, you could set up an extension, and yeah, people could call. That'd
Deal
be
with David
sweet.
and everything.
It would probably just get loaded up with trolls calling and saying crazy shit, but
else and asking for the public to. And that way, if somebody wants to come forth anonymously, let's say they were a part of this, it went too far for them, and they don't want, we can assure them that it will not. Unlike other places, their anonymity will remain just that. So
if you do have anything you do want to get out about this specific group, my DMs are always open, and also the Tupa crew for you archive. Yeah, you can DM them to that, and then I'll put it out on the channel, and you won't be, you won't get any hate for it. So it's just an idea.
It's so ridiculous. I guess they probably don't feel safe. Like, oh wow, if they probably know
Well, they've watched us get run into the ground, and nobody else wants to go through it. It's effective.
the ins and outs of it, but somebody needs to step up here and do the right thing.
Yeah, it'll be probably one from inside their crew. There's a guy, UFO Shane. He's been part of
I
a
know
lot of it.
Shane.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be willing to talk about some of it at some point. But
Not now, but what'll happen is Shane will get mad at somebody. He'll get mad at Panda or Tupa, and he'll throw a mantrum, and he'll spill secrets, and or he'll jump over and be like, "All right, let's do the interview." Because I've asked him if he wanted to come on Felony Talk and talk about all this stuff. But eventually, one of these guys are gonna get really pissed off at him, and they're gonna burn him. Somber's gone halfway, and then they reel him back in the next day. Somber's another candidate that could possibly spill the beans on what they're actually doing. When he was threatening to do self harm that night, he was giving me a dead man's password, he said, and it was supposed to be to a stash of information that exposed all the truth about UFO Twitter, but I don't know if it was even real. 'Cause I looked into the password he gave me, and then he like said he was going out in the woods and deactivated, and he told me he was gonna unalive himself. Scared the fuck out of me. But anyways, the password I've asked a little couple people, and it's like, dude, that doesn't go to anything. Like tech savvy people. So I honestly believe this guy gave me a password and nothing to convince me that he was gonna do self harm. It was a psyop. They wanted me to go talk to ufology SWAT and try to get them to stop their channel.
they're like he relies on these guys to co-host him so he can make money off of Twitter and stuff. So these guys are all like they're the UFO Twitter gatekeepers, and they all have dirt on each other, so it kind of binds them all together. But they ain't got dirt on none of us, so we're the outsiders. Like that's the divide. It seems like.
So that's how the UFO communities run. I know a group that just like that. They bring to conferences. They bring a guy with a drone, and that way they know what's going on and who's done what, and that will be used against you in the future. Who wants to go or be around people like that?
Holy shit. So did she say there's a guy that flies a drone around and kind of watches everything? That's that's wild.
Not me. Like you're not that sound does not sound enjoyable. That does not sound. I mean, this is crazy, absolutely crazy.
There's
And
an
you know what
audience.
the thing of it is? Yeah, but they're what's that?
There's an audience for like this drama idiot form of entertainment though, and people eat up when these crazies are fighting in these spaces. Dude, they fill up. Like people love it. That seems to be an issue too.
That is an issue. That is a big time issue. That's an issue with everybody online, especially after going out. Nobody is getting out and doing things. They're at home trapped in.
And dude, we're not talking about a bunch of like dummy like wrestling fans. You're talking about it's supposed to be a bunch of intellectual like nerds, and for some reason they can't get enough of Chase drunk threatening to hurt people. It makes me when I see these people like one recently is this Gene. It's people that I know they're really intelligent, but they're still sliming with these people, and it's like, dude, like aren't you worried about like the guy that like don't why do you want to be seen talking to a convicted woman beater all night? Like, why would you want to be connected to the guy that just ranted and cried all night about how he was going to kill somebody and fly back so nobody knew? Like, don't you pay attention? Like, you're really intelligent people. Either you don't care or you're just kind of like, I don't know, not paying attention possibly, but it doesn't seem possible because these guys don't hide it and they're in the spaces a lot of time while it's happening. So you almost can't even give them the benefit of the doubt that they just haven't witnessed, you know? It's almost not possible that they haven't witnessed these things.
And drama. And usually the people who are accusing other people of doing it, what is that? That's called projection. Like I was a mental health therapist for 7 years, and I could see some of the stuff like a mile away, and I'm like, man, you guys have no idea how dangerous. Not you, but I'm saying, like, as a community, people don't understand how dangerous this really is and how quickly this can go bad. I mean, David.
She's talking exactly about what I was saying. Panda seems to be driving the whole community towards a tragedy, including myself. These spaces about it's gonna be hilarious when they find TJ dead of an overdose and things. This is these guys trying to drive me into the grave. Like, I mean, what else would it be? Um, and that's kind of what she's talking about, and it's real. These people are fucking insane.
It will not be the last. And they can say mental health. What do you think perpetuates mental health? Like, do you think everybody who has depression, it used to be 1 out of every 5 that even suffered from it. Nowadays, there's not one person. But look to the environment, look to what is going on. That is what fuels everything. And if you think somebody like David, who could not stand up for himself in maybe necessarily the fighting arena, or he didn't want to battle people like in debates, and that was on him. He was a good person. He was a very good person. But that does not give, it more tragedies just.
Was she? Dude, I don't think I've ever talked to her. Like, it's Rotary. You crack me up, dude. I think I'm trying to think. There were a couple that I would get mixed up because their PFPs were similar. It was Marial Misanthropy. There was Mary Misanthropy or something, and then there was Cartot, and one of them was always nice to me, and the other one wasn't as nice to me. But I never really talked to either one. I thought Cartot was kind of in with the Tupa crew and those people. So the fact that she's one of the files that's on the sidebar, it's like, dude, they're keeping files on their own fucking people, it looks like.
Like this will happen if we don't do something.
I just
Who else? Oh, I'll show it when I do the edit. Don't worry, you'll get to see it. You just might have to wait till later tonight.
wanted to point something out. They were spamming down in the comments something about, and this is one of the things they used against me for a long time, saying that I accused people of being involved in CP. And what this is based on, and I might have shown you the screen, Coley. There's been several incidences. Well, one was where I stumbled across a space where a few of these guys were in there, and there was a naked photo of a boy, and the space was called Nudes for Dudes, and there were a few of them in there. And when I screenshotted this thing and was like, UFO Twitter, what the fuck is this? Everyone lashed out at me. So there's been things that happen in this community over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Where I start to feel like there's a ring of like
whenever I start telling these stories, Coley's like, "Oh my god!" Like, because she already knows what I'm gonna say. They're trying to cover things up, man.
Child, like CP
Yes.
going
Yes.
on right under the surface, and when I've expressed that, I've been seriously attacked.
Oh yeah, you better believe that's because you're getting closer to the truth. And I know that not with, but I do know of a situation. I do know Greer. There's a guy that had 1,001 documents on Greer that showed some of that very same behavior. And I do.
The fact that she said that about Greer is because this is, dude. My theory has always been for a while now that Greer's financing a lot of this, and he's the one that is using these guys Tupa and Red Panda Koala. There was a third person allegedly that was working with him named Little Pop Tart, and I'll put him up. He said we were all being paid, and what they were being paid to do was slander Lou Elizondo and make Greer look good. It's marketing. It's online marketing, and that appears. And so this culture that I found on UFO Twitter, where they seem to cover for any kind of behavior along, the CP lines, and that's really interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that case that she talked about, or that she mentioned with Greer and these photos. What'd you say, 1,500 photos? Let's go back and play it.
You better believe that's because you're getting closer to the truth. And I know that not with, but I do know of a situation. I do know Greer. There's a guy that had 1,001 documents on Greer that showed some of that very same behavior. And I do know younger women's pictures have been leaked. I do know who and by. I've mentioned names and said names before. But like I said, there's
When you start to try to expose it, you get attacked, and it sounds like she's been down that road, and it's just there's some weird shit going on, man.
you should hear the stuff that they say they accuse James of, like being a cult leader of.
And projection again, they accuse you of it, even though you have no history of it, no credible, like it's just them pulling it out of thin air. There's no reason to think these things about you. They turn it on you. It's the projection thing again.
Little boys of being a pedophile. I mean, they're accusing them people, and they will not come forth with their identity whatsoever. Why? Because this is what they do. If anybody knows anybody out like bashing people because they're gay, that's usually coming from somebody who can't come out of the closet that is gay.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Red Panda Koala and the Tupa Crew hate group and all their gay slurs and everything towards Gabe, even though there's a known rumor going around the Red Panda Koala and Kimball had some kind of relationship going on at Contact, but he seems to guard that with his life. Oh, yeah, weird.
Yeah, that happens a lot. One of the things I also use to say that there's kind of a weird environment here is.
Oh, what happened? I did it. Zanny, did you do that? I think Zanny did it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Zanny must have did it. No, I did it.
Digital even took over, and somebody got a picture, and they're in my son's closet, and Digital even took Rena, or he didn't want to battle people
Down in the
and reporting that to the what I'm
gonna go towards the end because I want to try to wrap this video up. So we'll go to the last 10, 15 minutes.
Going to that event, you guys needed to let them know, and they need to let Contact in the.
Okay, this is important right here. I wanted people to hear this part right here. This was the space where Butt Beacon was plotting to either unalive someone, is what it sounded like to me, or seriously assault somebody and then fly back home before anybody noticed. And this is me explaining, like, to anybody that'll pay attention, why this is dangerous and could be criminal, especially if something does happen.
left for a very good reason. Like it wasn't, I was probably at the peak of my career back then, and I'm telling you, it was crazy.
Oh, it's
nothing was worth it. Nothing was worth it. Nothing. Oh, that's great. You got so many hits. I got up to 1 million hits a month, and I said, I am done with this. I don't care if I.
Coley grew really big on UFO Twitter a few years back. It would have been back before the beta started. She was bigger on YouTube also, and she's just now kind of coming back into things, and that's why she's kind of out of the circle of all the characters on UFO Twitter, but not ufology. She knows 5 times as much as me when it comes to actual ufology. It's not really my thing.
Nobody hears me and I talk to
Not
myself.
my niche.
That is how done I am with this toxicity. It was that bad. And
it had to have gotten a lot worse, man. Like the difference is when I joined a little over 3 years ago, if somebody tried holding a space saying Lou Elizondo is trying to recruit people for a gay sex cult, the community would have called him out and been like, dude, are you crazy? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you spreading lies about ufologists on UFO Twitter? Like, why are you just making up dumb shit and sending it across the ether? But now these guys have like moved the bar so low that you can sit in a space and get drunk and talk about plotting how you're going to go kill somebody at contact in the desert, and they'll all pile in and listen. Like that's where the level is now, because they do it. I've got a recording of it, and that's this group.
The thing of there should be an accountability clause that if people are in there and they're listening to it and they're not doing anything about it, you're just as guilty. In my mind.
Well,
Dude, she's so spot on with that. And that's where you have me calling out people like these love and light aunties for going along with that crap. What she just said, I'm going to rewind it.
Now, because they do it. I've got a recording of it, and that's this group.
The thing of there should be an accountability clause that if people are in there and they're listening to it and they're not doing anything about it, you're just as guilty. In my mind,
well,
you're just
I made a video about it.
You're just as guilty. If you're sitting in there listening to that garbage, if you're sitting in a space listening to Psych Ward Mike talking in non-cred, talking about how they want Gabe's surgery to go bad so he ends up paralyzed for the rest of his life, or listening to Panda and Chase talk about how it's going to be hilarious one day when they find me dead from an overdose, if you're sitting in there listening to that, you're just as guilty. That's what she just said. So finally, I have met somebody who actually is fucking making sense and sees things for what they are. It took me 3.5 years on UFO Twitter to finally meet someone that would join a space and think logically and actually just be real. But finally, we have it. It's amazing.
You've probably seen it, but I talked about that at the end. I'm like, if you guys know, if he's not talking about me, because he seems to be talking about going, he says he's going to go scope out the event for 2 days and blah blah blah. If he's not talking about me, if he's talking about someone who's planning on going to that event, you guys need to let him know. Like, and they need to let Contact in the Desert know that, hey, this crazy's holding spaces, getting drunk, talking about how he's going to come there and clip somebody.
Yeah,
like, but
and I
nobody
can
cares.
let them know too.
And I'll like bring attention to these obvious insane things that these guys are doing, and everyone's just kind of shrugged, like, well, that's UFO Twitter for you. It's
That shouldn't be. That should not be just UFO Twitter for you. Like that's not how this is supposed to work. And I know a lot of people that won't even get on here because that is exactly how things are working right now.
And once again, she says I know a lot of people that won't even get on here. And these are the people that have things that we can learn from. These are the people you actually do want to talk to, but they won't even get on here. And that's along the same lines I was saying, running off authors and medical professionals and child psychiatrists because Mike doesn't like them. Psych Ward Mike and Tupa, these incels, just didn't like them. So we just let them run these people off. Dude, it's everywhere and it's bullshit.
And they're people that, would help put together. This isn't like a one-man band. This is a collective of, certain people hold the answers in certain.
You people on UFO Twitter that haven't been giving me the time of day for the last 2 years, she's saying that this crap, these guys, they're making the real ufologists not want to be involved on Twitter because of all this. That's what she said. And it's what I've been trying to tell y'all. If you let these guys hijack the community and turn it into the lolcow universe with aliens, nobody's going to want to come and play anymore. And that's what happened.
Places. This isn't, I mean,
You let woman beaters and goofies take over.
it's anybody coming off and like doing the whole Billy Meyer thing, run. I mean, literally run, because that's not how this operates, and that's not how it should go.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, nobody out there is saying me. I'm just the, then okay, you got a little bit of cultish. But if you can't even get people, real people, like on here to talk about it, because this is how it goes. I mean, even in interviews from time to time, I know people who have like literally been drugged through the ringer. They don't even want to come on or talk about it. And I'm like, it takes me a little bit more effort. I'm like, you're fine. I'm telling you, we do not tolerate this. We don't let it go on.
Coley's channel's really good at interviews. They seem to really make everyone comfortable. She did Jason Sands recently, an interview with him, and go check it out because he was kind of awkward, but it was a really good interview. He talked about his earlier years and stuff on it. She does really good interviews on her channel. Hey, what's up?
The comments will not.
Do you ever get people telling you, like saying to you that it's just the internet? Like if you can't adapt to living in a world where you're called a faggot for disagreeing with somebody, then you should just
There was the word I was gonna try to skip through. So yeah, what I was saying is there's this idea that I get a lot where people are like, dude, it's just the internet, get over it. And it kind of comes from the younger generations. When you confront behavior like these guys calling you the FAG slur anytime you disagree with them, kind of like what we were talking about with the hidden in plain sight guys. Like that seems to be their response. Like, get over it, wussy. It's just the internet. And it's like, dude, I don't want to exist in an online environment where everyone calls me gay slurs just because they don't like what I'm saying. Like, that just seems like is a shitty place to hang out. And some of these people that use that it's just the internet thing, they're the kind of people that, won't like be on their headsets on during video games because they don't want to get picked on. And it's like, well, dude, wouldn't you rather like have an environment where you're not getting called gay slurs every couple minutes? Like, seems like it's something we should all be able to agree on or did at one time. But I think that might be a culture shift or culture divide. I am getting a little up there in age, and these younger gamer kids might just not give a fuck. And that might be me being old timey. I don't know.
the fuck out. Do you ever get people like giving you that attitude? Kind of. It seems to be a culture divide with older people and younger people because those hidden in plain sight guys love throwing homophobic slurs at everybody, and
Oh
it's
my
out in
God,
the
they love
open.
throwing
Nobody cares.
anything. Yeah, no, they are the most unbelievable. Like, you should see it. Like when I know exactly who it's coming from because they're the ones that'll come in and they're so
You can recognize the socks because they come with homophobic slurs. That's what they lead with.
disgusting. They're like, listen here, you effing cunt. You don't. They warn me not to delete their messages. Is what they try to do.
Warn her not to delete their messages. Those little arrogant bastards from that goofy YouTube channel. They when I went over there when they were doing the segment on me, I went over there and just popped in the chat and was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on?" And they removed me. I don't know if it was like them doing it or a mod, but I was immediately removed, and you guys are kind of, being hypocritical little turds there if you won't even let me come listen to y'all make fun of me.
When I'm on lives, let the conversation
They removed
go.
me on site when they were holding the one about
I
me.
know.
They kicked me right. I said, "What's up, guys?" and they booted me.
No, I know it's not the same, and it does not apply to thee. It only applies to me. Like like it doesn't apply to them. They
You thought he was gorgeous? He did have some great hair, didn't he? I like, dude, I liked how he had cameras set up in like all over his studio, and he would swing from camera to camera. Like he would stop mid sentence and like pivot to the
They don't care about that, but yeah, I know the nerve. So my question is
He was beautiful at one time. He had the beautiful golden locks.
you're so great at doing your videos at mimicking people. Why don't you try and set the stage for an actual legitimate interview and see if they'll sit down with you that way? I mean, who would want to? Nobody.
That's a good point, and I would like to see these uh these channels put it to the test. Like True Seekers or Hidden in Plain Sight. Try having a more serious person on and do an interview. See if they are willing. I'm curious to see because even Cambion, all he really gets are kind of people from like the lolcow universe, Fringe, what he got like enemies of Sarah Adams on. Like I've never really seen other than maybe in Jolly any like ufology figures go on there. I'm probably missing some, but it would be interesting to see him try to actually do some interviews.
And I don't
That's
think
why
that's going to be written in history. Yeah,
Yeah,
no way.
their show is and it was they would watch like all of David Wilcock's video, like
Yeah.
the whole thing, and they would just kind of clown it as it went through. And it's like, dude, I get this with people like the lolcow culture with the younger community online. It's like you really love that person, or you wouldn't be spending this much time watching them.
I know. Is it jealousy? Does jealousy? How
I
in the
don't know,
world?
man.
Do you
That's
know
what
that there's
There's no way you could spend that much time, hours of your life analyzing and reacting to somebody if you didn't really appreciate them for either their maybe uniqueness, just their ability to be entertaining. But those guys loved Wilcox, so it's like, why'd you destroy him then?
nothing like the hours
It's
that I
sad.
watch going up when the trolls are there. And I'm like, what?
Right.
I should be thanking you or giving you because you've just knocked my, stuff up here. But I, unlike everybody else, do not want my account. I mean, but it's grown that way. It definitely has grown that way.
Well, one way it grows, the trolls help it is like my channel's tiny. I'm just starting, barely surviving. When these bigger channels like Hidden in Plain Sight, they did a little mini segment on my entire channel to make fun of me. That gets eyes on your channel that normally would have never heard of you. And that's always a positive thing in content creation because that's what 90% of it is getting your video out there so people know it exists. If you don't have big accounts, it's hard just to advertise and market your video. So when your haters and trolls do it for you on their bigger channels, yeah, it definitely helps you.
And who is it to? The trolls. I'm like, when I'm trying to boycott something, I don't
It tells their audience this is someone that's worth paying attention to, and people go check out the channel.
watch it. I don't click on it. I say not interested. I'm not going to go in there and but they don't because why? They need that content so freaking bad. But
Oh, for sure, man. And I mentioned this earlier. It's a little sad because they're still using him for content even after he's passed away.
I
One of
would
them,
rather my own.
one of them tried to tell me that they actually really liked David and they were trying to help him. I don't know if they've
Yeah,
given
no,
you a
I know,
ticket.
no, they don't that.
Everything I say, she seems to know. Like they've tried that. I've heard that. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. I don't buy that. I don't think what I don't buy is that that guy even believes that. I think he's just trying to, because it was a comment on Twitter. That's kind of like an official narrative comment. No, man, we were trying to teach him the ropes of the internet.
You know that they tried saying that after how much they cared about him and they were just trying to get him to. That's for the investigation. So if somebody looks
Oh.
and you see somebody, you're like, well, they're not really writing anything publicly like Steve. Well, that's because Steve knows that there is some type of investigation going on. Everybody obviously doesn't know to the extent of it. We could not do that, or we would not do that. Otherwise, they would not do what they're doing. I'll guarantee you that. But they can continue. But that's just the thing. It's like they'll do that because they think, oh, how many times though? It kind of worked for me until I got a taste of it myself. I'd go over to Steve's profile and I'd be like, well, he's not writing anything. But no, you don't understand what he's doing behind the scenes. And I was like, Steve, like he just always seemed like a kind of like a schmuck to me. Like he didn't really there's nobody really that wanted to give him the time of day. Nobody really wanted to include them in on their shows. And he tried when I've had shows before. He came in, he's like, I call out the grifters. I was like, hey, dude, we don't do grifters.
We don't do grifters. That's not what Coley's channel is. They have whistleblower or like people experiencers stuff like
Thanks.
that on.
And I thought, man, are times that bad that this is all you got
He doesn't
going
call
on
out
that
the
you're coming
grifters
in?
though. That's what's frustrating.
I know. But
I
that's what he was trying to do a couple of years.
He wouldn't even do an episode on the Rogers coin rug pull. Like I fed him everything he needed to get started and the main accounts that were involved, and I was like, dude, do an episode on the crypto rug pull that these guys pulled on UFO Twitter. Like you do the grifters. That's your whole thing. And he would not touch it. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? Why is this guy not want to bust the grifters and be the truth seeker? What is going
Well,
on?
he still does. Like that's his image, is this truth seeker's image. And like, dude, I
know.
I have fed him so much stuff of these guys like in the crypto rug pull, like things that would be really good videos for him to show, like that there's this little scam crew on UFO Twitter where there's tons of evidence, there's them talking in spaces about it. It would be a good segment for his channel, but he won't touch them. And that's nefarious to me.
Right. If you're going to be such a truth seeker, I mean, why not report on it?
This when the Rogers coin collapsed, when it got rug pulled. It's all anyone was talking about on UFO Twitter. So it's not like he didn't hear about it. He avoided it. He swerved that conversation. And there's a reason for it. It's because he doesn't want to go against that crew. Well, that's not a truth seeker. That's not someone who's trying to bust grifters. That's a guy who's just trying to go along and get along.
On the truth.
Well, and that's I've been begging,
crazy?
like come over to UFO Twitter and show what the truth that's going on over here. And he's scared. Like I've heard people tell me that he says he's scared. He doesn't want to cross these guys. And the only thing I can come up with is because they all work for the same fucking person. There's someone above them. They're all on the same team. They all get orders from the same person. And you don't cross over and start stepping on the toes of someone you work with. You just don't.
Do you know?
That's where I'm landing anymore, is that there's somebody pulling the strings over UFO Twitter, and they're kind of swallowing up these guys and bringing them on board. It started with Tupa and Panda. Yeah, Cambion's connected to it.
You know how Gabe Hoffman is tied into all these people?
I don't know who that guy is. Twitter and show what.
Not like, oh my God, I was all totally, at some point we've all been lied to.
I'm gonna have to look into this Gabe Hoffman.
Some point. And if you can get there and you can admit that, there's a chance for you. But if you can't, I'm like, go to another community. Another community is calling your name, but it's not this one. Sorry, it's not for you.
They seem to really like the crypto stuff these days. I've been trying to encourage them to go hang out with the crypto bro.
Get them over to the crypto people. The crypto people probably have money to spend with you guys. Like they're out, dealing. They
send them bitches over to the crypto bros. That's where Doomer hangs out most nights anyways.
Probably know they're scam. That's probably why they can't go over to the crypto people.
Dude, again, Coley, right away. She's like, well, you couldn't scam the crypto bros, though. Those guys are going to outsmart you. And that's absolutely correct. They want to stay on UFO Twitter with the people that are easy to scam and get over on. They have found a little pot of gold over there, and they're willing to do a lot of grimy shit to protect it.
Exactly what they actually did with the Rogers coin thing is they connected to a crypto guy and he helped them plug into the community. So
Yeah, and they probably just used it enough. But that still is a federal crime and that still warrants federal time. So,
you know what the silliest part about it is?
I would say the federal crimes that were probably committed during the Rogers coin rug pull was people didn't pay taxes on their winnings. That would probably, or whatever they received from it.
It was like a month after the Hawk Tua thing. Remember the Hawk Tua?
No, see, I haven't been. I only came back.
She does. She did remember the Hawk Tua. All right, they guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close it. I've been going for a while. We got the whole space recorded though. So what I was gonna do with it is use it for sound clips, and there's gonna be an even better video come out where I'm gonna put in all the videos and receipts to prove everything, and that'll be on YouTube shortly. So be watching that. It'll probably be out maybe later tonight. It's gonna be a lot of editing because it was a long space. So a lot of people came through. A couple people came through and chatted. A lot of them were probably just creeping. But I really appreciate everyone checking out my stuff. Please go subscribe if you don't. I'm trying to grow a little bit here, and it always helps. Subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. If anyone support financially, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/TeeJay Felony. You can leave your name blank if you want to stay anonymously. Just fill out your email address, but nobody sees that. And you can also follow me on X at Felony Talk on X. And my DMs are open. If you have any questions about this video and what you've heard here, shoot them over to me. I got receipts and everything for most of the stuff. So I talk to pretty much anyone. pretty much an open book. The finished video, like I said, should be out later tonight, so be watching for that. This one probably won't be up, so if you were live in here with us while we were live, you were lucky and caught it live. But the finished video will be a lot better, so be watching for that. And peace out. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you guys later, and I will probably talk to you over on X a little bit later tonight. Have a good day, and thanks for watching. Be good to each other. Let's turn this ship around.